Okay, we should be live, hopefully, if I'm facing the right direction. Fingers crossed that you're actually looking at me and not just my door. That's always the hope. I've already got Justin voting in the poll, and the poll has been live for about 5 seconds. Okay, good. We are facing the right way. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Birdie Time Live. We're chilling, hanging out, chatting a little bit, and yeah, sorry I'm a minute late. Oh man. Well, I'll tell you more about it soon, but had a very, very long tournament round of disc golf today. Much, much longer than any round of disc golf should ever take. So that was fun. But I got home, I got food, and I got on the live stream only 1 minute late, roughly speaking. So we've got ourselves early votes in the poll, and we have one for Lord of the Rings and one for Star Wars. All right. It's a good start. And of course, Justin is saying Star Wars. And so for the giveaway is next week. Don't forget, the giveaway is next week. But I will do, of course, a little bit of an announcement teaser. But yes, it's one more week until the giveaway actually happens. But let's see if I can actually get the discs here. So first of all, I'll give a fast shout out to Jim for already earning himself the Jade. I intentionally posted my video of all of the discs in my collection, knowing that at some point somebody would count every single disc that I showed on camera and come to the proper count of all of my discs and win the Jade. I didn't think it would happen within like 2 hours of me posting that video. So that was pretty quick. So congrats to Jim. This Jade will be yours. And I've already kind of chatted a little bit in the comments. But yeah, I will make sure that this comes your way. And yeah, don't laugh at my signature just because it's bad. Then we've got for next week, we have another week still. So if you have not entered yourself into the giveaway, you have 6 more days until Saturday at 11:59 p.m. I think that is April 5th. And then on April 6th, next live stream, we will run the giveaway for this Terra. Thank you, Blaze, for the Terra. We also have ourselves this sweet owl stamped Shrike. And we have this Kristen Tatar stamped Saint Pro. This is really nice. This is a tough disc to let go of. And then we have a Garrett Gerthy stamped Emperor. I got this from Garrett a couple months ago, right before he and Jessica headed out for the tour. So all of those discs will be available for the upcoming giveaway, but the giveaway will run in a week. So next live stream, the giveaway will be run. If you haven't entered yourself into that giveaway, make sure you find my 5 disc giveaway for 5,000 subscribers video. It's like 2.5, 3 minutes long, and just find that video, make sure that you watch through it, and leave a comment on that video to be entered for a chance to win that one of these 4 remaining discs. All right, so let's see. What have you guys been up to this week? Like I said a second ago, I just came back from one of the longest tournament rounds that I've ever experienced. My buddy Brent and I were hoping to qualify for the USDGC doubles in a doubles qualifier today. And we were on the 2 o'clock tee time. Unfortunately, the 1:50 tee time had 3 very slow doubles teams. And it took, to play what I would call a moderately easy course, it took 3 hours and 10 minutes for a best shot doubles round. And there was no one in front of the card in front of us. So we were just sitting, like on almost every single hole, we would get, both of our teams would get birdies, or one of us would get a birdie, one of us would get a par. And so we would get up to the basket, and as we're about to putt in, the card in front of us is still throwing their tee shots. So they finally get off the tee, and we just wait and wait and wait and wait until they finally finish playing the hole. We play the hole, we get to the basket, and they're still on the next tee. And it was like that for the entire round. It was painful. Unfortunately, we did not qualify. And I would like to blame the lengthy sitting around that we did during this tournament, but he'll be the first one to admit it. Part of the reason that we struggle a little bit is because Brent kicked a tree really hard yesterday and his foot is swollen. So, lesson learned for everybody out there, don't kick trees. I don't know why I have to explain that, but don't kick trees. Just don't do it. Don't punch them, don't kick them. They don't care. They're not going to get hurt. So, not worth it. Don't kick trees. But we missed a couple 35-foot putts that we should have made. And to be honest, in a doubles team at our level of MA1 amateur, like between the two of us, one of us needs to make that putt every single time. So that was unfortunate. But overall, we played fine. We were 2 shots away from qualifying. And when we got to the last 2 holes, we needed a birdie and an ace. So we tried for the ace and we took a par. So it was whatever. But we'll play again. We'll hopefully qualify next time. And hopefully we'll have 4 functioning feet, not just 3. All right. I love how at 6:22 Papa John says that he's late just because people were chatting early, getting ready for the live stream. Justin says, I definitely learned not to smack a tree with my wrist when throwing last week. Yeah, that hurts. At least that's an accident. Kicking a tree is a choice. At least smacking your arm on a tree is on accident. But yeah, that does not feel good. Bryant, welcome to the chat. I have a disc to open from Bryant. I'm going to open that in a couple minutes here. Thanks for joining up and coming in to hang out. I'll open that up in like 4 or 5 minutes here, Bryant. Get that open up. Show it off to everybody. So how have you guys been? Who's been out on the course this week? I know that Luke played in a tournament today, and at 2 different points in the tournament, Luke was leading or tied for first place, and ended up playing solid overall, but had a chance to really kill it out there. Had some great moments. I was following scores while I was trying to focus on my own doubles round. But let's be honest, I had plenty of extra time to just kind of wait around and check scores. Let's see, where's my water? It's not a good sign when I already need water and we just started. All right. Hey, we got some more votes in the poll. Star Wars taking a fairly early lead, 56%, but there's only 9 votes in. So every vote changes by like 5 to 10% at this point. There we go. Another vote for Star Wars swinging up to 60%. So every vote is worth 10% at this point. And 1 for the Matrix. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and open up Bryant's disc here. Let's see. Should be able to get myself a little package opener here. As one of my friends says, away from your body and toward your buddy. Be careful with knives. All right, let me just finish that off here. All right. So let's see. What do I have here? Ooh. Oh yeah, that's sweet. I've got a note. Oh, that's really sweet. All right. Bryant Voss with the sweet stamped mountains with a cross. And it says Voss. That is a really, really awesome custom stamped disc. When Bryant was putting these together, I knew that I had to grab one. Oh, now what is this? Was this? I know I wanted an FX2 at one point. Bryant, did I end up with an FX2? I can't recall if that was my first hope or my follow-up choice was the FX2. Let's see. It doesn't say in the notes, but I'm not reading this. It's very personal. It's very kind. But yeah, this is really, really sweet. Got a little, not really domey, nice and flat. I feel like it'll flip a little bit for me, but not too much. Some good stability. Cordy says, if you snap a frisbee, I'll donate 100. If you donate 100, I'll snap a frisbee. How about that? Slender Man says, have you played a golf course in Las Vegas called Wild Horse? No, no, I have not. I have not played anywhere close to Las Vegas, mostly Charlotte, Michigan, and Florida. Joseph says, how many strawberries can you eat before your stomach hurts? I think it's more about how much chocolate that the chocolate covered strawberries will have that will make my stomach hurt. Strawberries, probably more. Bryant says, thanks for the support, brother. It's an FX3. Okay, FX3. So heck yeah. I'm excited to get some throws with it. Is that okay, Bryant? Can I throw it? Is that all right? Am I allowed to throw? I mean, it's beautiful, but it's got to go in the bag, right? Paul, I'm not saying hi to your friend. Sorry. So I've got to get this out on the course pretty soon. See how it flies. See how it flies. Well, let's see. Another update for me. I just played a tournament round yesterday for Chain Reactions. I played at Bailey Road, which is a pretty easy course, and that's kind of like the good and the bad is it's an easy 21 hole course. So if you play well, that's great. But if you're like a little bit off and you start taking pars or even a bogey or two, that can be devastating to your score. So early on, somebody went 16 down through 21 and kind of set the bar at a decent place. I've gone 15 down before in tournament, so definitely gettable. And I started great. I started with 6 birdies in a row, so 6 down through 6, and then I just barely threw out of bounds. It just kind of skipped and kind of skittered out of bounds. So it was just a little bit unlucky, a little unfortunate. And then I had bad footing, bad putt, missed a putt, took a bogey, and just like that, I was like, wow, it feels like I can't win now. I ended up going 12 down, but I took another bogey, which was just kind of bizarre for how easy the course is. It's definitely unusual for me to take multiple bogeys at Bailey. So it's kind of just a weird round. I missed several putts that I should have made, which was just sad, just unfortunate. So really wasn't ideal. It was a little bit unfortunate. But overall, it was fine. I played a little bit above my rating. I think it was a 974 rated round, and my rating currently is 964. So at least that's a good thing. I got it a little bit above my rating, just a little bit. So at least there's that. Bryant says, of course I can throw it. Heck yeah, I'll be tossing it soon. Give it a try, and I'll definitely let you know what I think about it. We'll see how it flies. Paul says, why? I think you know why. Come on. Surajit says, hi. And her candle says, hello. If you need to talk to someone, you can go ahead and leave comments. And as long as they're appropriate, I will respond to your comments. So feel free to chat in the comment section, in the live chat. Bryant says, I've had a great few weeks of doing iron sharpens iron disc golf rounds on Fridays. Averaged about 5 people per turnout, getting into the Bible, pray, and around. Lots of love, joy, and peace. That's really awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I wasn't so far away. I would absolutely join up with that. That would be a blast. But that's really, really cool. I would really enjoy being part of something like that. That's really cool. Maybe I should run one around here. I am going to be meeting with a group of Christian disc golfers this Friday, and doing a little bit of a devotional and then hitting the course. We're going to play Angry Beaver or maybe Eager Beaver. I can't remember. It might be the easy course that we play, which will be a lot of fun. We'll have a blast. We'll get out there, and that'll be nice. That'll be enjoyable. But Brian, it's really great that you're getting out there, having a good time on the course, gathering together with some other Christians, some other believers, and spending that time sharpening iron. It's really awesome. All right, we have a couple of votes for Harry Potter, a couple more for The Matrix, and Star Wars is up at 45%, with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit lagging behind at 25%. So we have the nerds coming out in force to vote for Star Wars. Congrats, guys. You're all getting together. Well, I can't speak to the circumstance that you're experiencing, Candle, but I'm really sorry that going through some rough stuff. That really, really sucks. And obviously, we don't need to talk about details of what's going on, but life can be really rough sometimes, and it can get better, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. I'm really sorry, but you are welcome to stay here and hang out with our group, just kind of hanging out, chatting together. So feel welcomed with us here, because you are welcome. So let's see. What do I have coming for tournaments? See, did I adjust that too much? I appreciate that, but yeah, you're welcome to stay here and hang out in the chat. So I've got a trip planned to Michigan coming up. So I'm going to miss the next Chain Reactions tournament in Charlotte that I would normally play in a couple of weeks. So I'm kind of I'm keeping my eyes open for Michigan tournaments. And I'm not sure exactly which one I'm going to jump into, but there's a couple that I'm kind of keeping my eye on, wondering if I can, jump in at the last second. A couple of them there's one in Holt, Birchfield and Bloom, although that one's kind of expensive, to be honest. There's one in Albion. So there's a couple of options. I'm kind of considering, the possibilities of what I might want to play. I've only played a couple of Michigan courses outside of where I grew up. So I'm really unsure of which one to go with, but I think I'm going to play a Michigan tournament in the next coming 3 weeks, and the live stream might have to be in a different location without all the discs. So the live is about disc golf for the most part. So I play disc golf at a competitive level, not on the professional level where I fully get paid to compete, but I play at the highest amateur level and sometimes the professional division. And yeah, so I have disc golf discs that I throw when I'm out on the course. And discs are designed to improve on frisbees and fly further and faster. And so I have discs in my bag, and I go out and I play an 18-hole course. It's essentially the same rules that you play for golf. You have par, and then there's like birdies and bogeys if you play one under par or one over par. And I'm going out and competing with a bunch of other people and seeing if I can, place highly or end up winning in my tournaments. So we kind of just hang out, chat about disc golf here, but it's not all disc golf. You're welcome to talk or chat about any kind of random topics and just kind of hang out. And obviously, be able to hang out with a group of people is probably good too. There's Jim. Jim says, disc total winner Jim here. I can't wait to add your disc to my pro signed collection. Keep up the great videos. Oh, that's nice. That's crazy. It's I would say a mild exaggeration to add this to the pro signed collection, but if you want to do that, I will take it fully and totally as a compliment. And as I said a few minutes ago, congrats to you, Jim, for quickly getting the exact right number of discs in my collection. Did you immediately watch through my video and count all the discs? How did you do that? Did you count like as I grabbed stacks of them? Did you like pause it and count the stack? I'm just curious to your exact method of quickly getting to that 245 because I knew that somebody would at some point in the next week watch through that video and count all of the discs. Maybe I should have made it harder somehow, but you did it within like 3 hours, which was pretty impressive. So these discs are not music discs; they're for throwing. So you go out into a disc golf course, and for instance, I can't throw as well as the full professionals, but I can throw pretty well. So I'm usually throwing between 200 and 400 feet for my throws off the tee. And then if I'm pretty close to the basket within 90 feet, I'm usually using a putter to try to make it from wherever I am. And the closer I am, the easier it is to make that. A lot of holes are a par three. So it's something like a 350-foot par three. And at my experience level, my skill level, I should be able to be within 50 feet most of the time on a hole like that if it's not too difficult. But a lot of courses in Charlotte have a ton of trees, so they'll have an intended fairway where you're supposed to throw, and sometimes that's basically all you've got. And if you get off that fairway and kick a tree, like you're toast. So there's some pretty difficult disc golf courses in Charlotte, but definitely pretty high quality and a very good competitive scene for disc golf in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's yes, it's a sport. Sporty, yes. Yep. So yep, it's a it's a sport that I enjoy, and most of us, I would say, usually in the comment section are chatting about favorite discs and favorite professional players, and about what courses we played recently. So there's a few famous disc golf courses, especially across the United States. And yeah, that's normally what we're talking about. Papa John, yo, what's up? Thanks for hopping in. I saw earlier that you said you were late before the stream started, but that's okay. You're here now. Thanks for joining. How have you been lately? Have you been able to hit the disc golf course? Got any rounds in? I'm fortunate. Charlotte has been beautiful, beautiful weather in the last couple of weeks, and it's starting to remind me of Florida a little bit. Not quite humid and muggy enough, and it's not hot enough in the early morning yet. It's still like cool overnight, so that's still weird. But at least we've had some nice sunshine, and I've really been able to enjoy the weather a little bit more when I'm out on the course disc golfing. And so I really got a couple of really sunny days. It has been windy here and there, but no real complaints. It's been a lot of fun to be able to get out on the course. Excuse me. So what about you guys? Have you been out on the disc golf course this week? Any recent disc golf rounds? All right, looks like the poll is still in favor of Star Wars, but it's beginning to balance out. Now that we've gotten more votes, closing in on 30 votes, we have Lord of the Rings slash The Hobbits at 29% and Star Wars at 30. Oh, we jumped and we jumped again and we jumped again. Looks like somebody is changing their vote as I speak. At the moment, we've got 31% for Lord of the Rings, 38 for Star Wars. So still a decent lead for Star Wars, but this is a little closer to what I was expecting. I wasn't sure what would be more popular, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. It doesn't surprise me that Star Wars is leading, but not by a ton. At first, the amount that Star Wars was leading by was a little bit surprising because it was way ahead, and I think that that it, it doesn't deserve to win by like double what Lord of the Rings. BR says unfair to put Lord of the Rings in the same category as the Hobbit movies. I would say that is true. That is accurate. But if we're looping together all of Star Wars, I think the same thing applies. Because if you're putting the prequels and the sequels and the shows together, you're going to have the highs and the lows and the hits and the misses all under the large umbrella of Star Wars. So I thought it was fair to put Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy under an umbrella similarly, as well as the Matrix, because now that there's four of them, that's beginning to kind of broaden out a little bit. And with the Harry Potter movies, maybe you might really like the Deathly Hollows or Goblet of Fire or something like that, and not really like the Sorcerer's Stone, right? Philosopher's Stone if you're in Europe. So that's why I did it that way. But I do agree with you. I'm on the same page, and in my opinion, the Hobbit movies are fun, but they are not on the level of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They're simply not as high quality. They're enjoyable. The action sequences are enjoyable, but the quality of cinema is just a little bit lackluster. And the amount of deviation from the book is significant, whereas the Lord of the Rings original trilogy, particularly the extended editions, the amount of deviating from the book is impressively minimal. And I know that a lot of Lord of the Rings, like true Lord of the Rings fans, would argue that there are still a ton of parts that are skipped, like Tom Bombadil, songs from the elves, Lothlorien being pretty lackluster and boring compared to how beautiful it's supposed to be, and on and on and on. But I would say, as someone who has read the books, twice, I think I read through the series twice, it's pretty impressive. It's quite impressive how much from the books are directly in the films and how little deviation there is from the original writing. But then you look at The Hobbit and you're like, where'd this white orc come from? Who's Tariel? What's going on here? But they're fun. They're fun movies. Bailey Smith says, "Do you like disc golf?" Just a little bit. Yes, I have myself my disc golf collection here. I'll grab a random disc here. Oh, I know what this is. This is an Enigma. So actually, the Enigma is one of the discs that it's in my bag. I have two of them, a blue one and a yellow one. But yes, I've got myself a nice disc golf collection. I just played a U.S. Amateur doubles qualifier today. Came up just a couple of shots short of being one of the qualifying teams. So we were just short of kind of making that benchmark. And I played a tournament yesterday. I think I took 8th place out of 34, 32, something like that. Not bad. Honestly, it wasn't my best tournament, but it was solid. Solid. Luke says, kicking discs and taking tags. Yeah. They're definitely pretty fun. Bag tags are fun for disc golf leagues, and I've been in leagues before and gotten a tag. I don't have one this year. I'm not in a league. I don't have a tag, but I did have the number 4 tag last year for the Chainhawks, which was solid. That's pretty good. But I do feel a little bit bad because at the end I kind of wasn't able to make as many of the tag events. So I feel like somebody could have taken the tag for me and I wasn't always participating. So maybe I should have given up my tag. I didn't do that. Jason says, have you watched the original animated Hobbit movies? Not fully. I have not fully watched the original, no. So I've seen bits and pieces of them, and they're interesting. And they're definitely interesting. I appreciate that they existed at the time. Yeah, I did play fully through the PlayStation 2, the Hobbit game, and it was quite good. It was actually fairly accurate. It really followed the books pretty well. Bilbo's main attack, other than having Sting or swinging around his sword, was throwing stones, which is book accurate. The hobbits are quite good at throwing stones. I thought they did pretty well with Mirkwood and the amount of spiders, and then going invisible into the elf fortress, the wood elves, to kind of try to get the dwarves freed, and then riding the barrels. I mean, it was quite a solid game, especially for its time. But I can't speak too much to the animated series. Jim says, watch the video while down with a nasty cold. Counted as you went over each disc. Lucky because I lost count twice. Wow, yeah, you managed to get it. Currently have 147 pro signed discs. Guess my total collection. So if you have 147 pro signed discs, I'll guess 148. No, I'm just kidding. I'll guess 390 for your total collection. 390. Ooh, that's a good question. So Jason says, I like Valkyrie discs. I bag a Valkyrie. So at the moment, this Valkyrie is in the bag. I had a yellow and blue two-toned Valkyrie that I lost in Charlotte, and it hurts my feelings because I did throw that disc pretty well. It was pretty consistent. But the Valkyrie is good. This one is a flippier one because I do want turn out of my Valkyrie. I also throw the Brave, which is similar to the Valkyrie, but instead of a -1-2, it's -2-2, it's -1-2. So it turns a little slower, but it kind of drifts nicely for me. So I really love the Brave, but Valkyrie needs to be in the bag because I do kind of need that flip and fade shot shape sometimes in the woods. JM says, thoughts on people posting bogus rounds on the UDisc leaderboards? That is a great question. So it's an issue. I'll shout out a little instance where I noticed it happening. So I went and I played a course in Michigan, and I enjoyed it. It was an easy course, and I think I went 11 down and felt kind of bad about it. Like it was that type of course where I felt like I should have been 14 down through 18. And then I checked the UDisc leaderboard because I was like, maybe this course isn't super popular. Maybe I have one of the higher decent rounds. Well, the leaderboard had 2 18 downs on Christmas Day in Michigan, mind you, on the same year, 2023. So apparently, 2 people went out on Christmas in the middle of winter, snow on the ground probably, and had 2 perfect rounds together at the same time. I don't buy it. There are a number of holes on the course that are very difficult birdies, like 3 holes that you have to get lucky, I would say, to get in the circle. So yes, you can have a great round and go 14, 15, maybe even 16 down, but to go 18 down, and the only 2 18 downs, to be on Christmas Day in the middle of winter in Michigan, I 100% don't believe it. I truly don't believe it. For no one to go 18 down during the summer, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And what also is a problem with UDisc leaderboards is people can put in the wrong layout. So people can play the long pads and they can play the short pads and put in the long pads as their layout, whether on purpose or on accident. And then like it might be tough, like going 5 down might be playing like the professional level. And there'll be like a 16 down on long pads, which is like an 11-20 rated round if you were to actually score it out. And yet some local guy apparently, had just like tore it up. Well, actually, sometimes people actually just play the short pads, and the short pads might be way easier. So that can really be frustrating. And I've experienced that some at Eastway with the Beastway layout versus the Beastway Longs layout, which adds some multiple, much longer holes, and seen some crazy scores get put in there, and it's just not the same layout. But if people pick the wrong one and play well, they might accidentally be updating the UDisc leaderboard incorrectly. So it can happen. It's really unfortunate when it happens as an accident. And when people just spam it on purpose, I think that's crap. I think it's pretty sad because that leaderboard is there for people who earn it. And when you just kind of make it up and just plop it on there, I think that's dirty. I think that's really sad. Jim Butts has over 1,000 discs, so I guessed way low on that. Ridge says, what are your thoughts on the Mako 3? It's my favorite, most reliable disc that I don't see anyone talk about. Well, what's interesting that people aren't talking about it is because I feel like 2 years ago, everyone was talking about the Mako 3. Maybe that's just how it was. It was popular, and now we've kind of moved on. But that doesn't mean it isn't still a great disc. So I've thrown it a few times. I like the kind of neutral disc, like the Mako 3, the Fuse. I think there's a lot of room for them. And one of the hardest shots in disc golf is just throwing straight. Just a straight shot. That's a difficult shot because a lot of times a disc is a little bit understable or a little bit overstable. So you can't just throw it straight. You're drifting off to the side or you're starting to fade early. And stuff like the Fuse and the Mako, those can be great discs for hitting that dead straight shot. Especially when you don't actually want to throw a putter, you want to throw a mid range. You want to have something with a little bit more speed or a rim that's easier to grip than throwing a putter. So I like the Mako 3. I think that more people could benefit from slower discs, controlled shots, and often people are a little bit too excited to throw a faster speed disc, and they end up just kind of disking up too much, trying to force over a destroyer into a kind of Anheuser flex line, and sometimes lose a lot of distance and a lot of accuracy versus just throwing a Mako 3 dead straight. So I like the Mako 3. I did briefly bag it, but then I gave it to my brother-in-law, and he ended up bagging it and threw it really well for a long time, forehand and backhand. I don't know if he probably lost it by this point, but so he kind of took that from me. But yeah, I like the Mako 3. I think it's a great disc. Bryant says, any Prodigy in the bag? If not, I'm super honored. I do have one. So I do have the Prodigy X4, very flippy, extremely flippy. And this honestly is not always in the bag. If it's a windy day, this is never going to be thrown. Depending on the course, there's just no point in having it in the bag. So at Bailey, I did keep it in the bag just because I had all my discs and I was in a rush. But if I had a couple extra minutes, I would have taken it out of the bag and just left it in the car. But yes, it's a huge turnover shot for me. So the FX3 will be the only other Prodigy in the bag, and I'll probably throw it more than the X4. It's kind of a niche case where I pull out the X4 and throw it. SZG says, I'm about to drive back to school, so won't be able to join today. Hope the stream is good. Thanks for jumping on, SZG, and letting us know. I hope you're doing well. I hope that school's going well for you. Drive safe, be careful, and thanks for updating us really quickly. It's too bad that you're often heading back to school on Sunday nights and can't always join the live stream. And when you have that time, you've probably got homework to do anyway. But really appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on, and catch you soon. Hopefully, we'll do some talking. And yeah, also SZG has some pretty nice little shorts they've been putting out there, and I enjoyed the duel, the battle that was posted today. That one was fun. Frogs and Otters says, hey Brad, can't believe I guessed the right number of discs for the giveaway and it was just a tad too slow. Yes, I found your comment, and at first I thought you were the first person to guess it, and then I made sure I combed through all the comments, and I didn't get a notification for Jim's, but he had gotten it like 20 or 30 minutes before you. So it really was close. Was it a total guess? Because Jim watched my video of all the discs in my collection and counted, and he got the exact number right. So did you really just guess it and happen to get it right? Man, maybe I almost feel like that's just like almost worse to like get it right, but somebody else just had it before you. Oh, that's so tough. But you did, you got it right, which was awesome. That was really cool. I wish that I could give you both the disc. If I could make a copy of that disc, I'd send it to both of you. Jason says, have you thought about entering the Buddha Tree competition? Is that the one in California? Tournament disc golf. Yes, that one is in California. I would love to be able to, but California is pretty far from Charlotte, North Carolina. So there's no real travel schedule for me. I'm going to be heading to Michigan in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to play at some point. I'm going to play a tournament in Michigan, or maybe two, if I could squeeze it in on 2 different weekends. Also get a round in with Luke. He wants a rematch because he's been playing a lot since the last time we played. That's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, California is just such a long ways away. If it were within 2 hours from me, I would totally be interested and see if I could make it work. But of course, North Carolina to California is really, really far to drive. So good shout on that tournament. It just looks so interesting, but yeah, it's just too far. Just too far. Frogs and Otters says, mine was a total guess. I can't believe it was right. So random. Yeah, somebody had guessed 242. And so I was like, ooh, we got a couple close ones. And then I saw the 245 and I was like, already? And then I checked and saw Jim's as well. And I was like, no way. Somebody counted and somebody guessed. And so that was really impressive. But yeah, you nailed it. You totally got it right. You totally got it right. What a great guess. All right, checking in on the poll. All right, this is similar to what I thought, although I did think Harry Potter would be a little bit higher up in the votes. I don't know if Harry Potter is just not as long lasting. Harry Potter was so popular 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was just crazy popular. Maybe it just doesn't have the kind of longevity that the Star Wars franchise does in Lord of the Rings. But we have 33% for Lord of the Rings / Hobbits, which are lumped together, but perhaps at a different level. Star Wars, not just for nerds, by the way, 40%. 9% for Harry Potter, and 19% for the Matrix series. I'll be 100% honest. As much as I liked the Matrix series, I found it slightly boring. Not actually boring. The action was very interesting. The story arc was very interesting. And yes, so I didn't really get everything the first time I watched it. I didn't really understand exactly what was happening in the story because there's a lot of depth to it. I mean, you really have to pay attention, maybe rewatch it to fully grasp the depth of the Matrix. I didn't feel bored in the Star Wars movies, the Harry Potter movies, or the Lord of the Rings movies. I did have moments of boredom in the Matrix. It's just me, it's just personal. But yes, that is kind of my personal experience of the Matrix. But I liked them, very much enjoyed them. Chase, the bowler, what's up, man? Says, what's up? I can't really stay for too long tonight because I have to unpack my things from the trip, but I'll try to pick it up when I can. Thanks for hopping in the chat. Really appreciate you being here, and welcome back from Costa Rica, right? Yes, Costa Rica. Chase had a sweet trip, doing some Tarzan rope swinging through the jungle. Pretty cool, pretty awesome. That must have been such a crazy trip. And yeah, it's got to be tough to come back from that and have to kind of return to the normalcy of the everyday life. But glad that you're safe and that you made it back. Bryant says, sign up for the Myrtle Beach Open this year, November 7th through 9th. Myrtle Beach Open. I'll have to see if I can make that one happen. Myrtle Beach Open disc golf. I don't see it for 2025 yet, but that is okay. I'll keep my tab open for it. We'll do it that way. Keep my tab open so that I have it when I come back for it. Yeah, Myrtle Beach Open I have heard of. I'd be interested if I can make it work, if I can fit in my schedule. Obviously, as I've said, I have the Amateur Worlds. I have U.S. Amateurs. Both of those kind of big tournaments on my radar for this summer. So those are going to be, if I can make them both happen, those are going to be a couple dollars to make those trips work out and compete in them. And I'm doing U.S. Amateur Doubles. And then, of course, I have to go back to my hometown Chain Hawk Open, my disc golf hometown, I should say, Chain Hawk Open in December. So if I can make more than that happen, I'll do my best to do so. But yeah, I'll keep my tabs on the Myrtle Beach Open. Goodness. Chase says it really is hard to adjust, especially coming from 90 degrees to 50. Guess I have to deal with normal everyday Ohio now. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. But welcome back to the States. Welcome back to the bowling life, getting back into the swing of things. All right. Todd Disc Golf says, I voted Star Wars, but I'll clarify that I only voted for the original trilogy. The prequels and sequels do not exist to me. Hans shot first. Released the original unaltered trilogy. Lucas. That's totally fair. I mentioned earlier I kind of lumped in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit together, and I lumped in all of the Star Wars franchise together. It doesn't mean that you like all of them, but when you're comparing, Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit to the Star Wars franchise, and you're picking what you love and picking what you like, if Star Wars comes out on top, Star Wars comes out on top. So that makes perfect sense. I am not a cat. Okay, makes no sense. Yes. So Hans shot first. Now, to my understanding, canonically, Hans shot first, and then Lucas came back and re-edited it so that Greedo shot first. Is that correct? Is that what happened? Lucas went back on his original uh, shot of where you can't see, but you know that Hans shot first, and then you have like the widescreen version shows Greedo shooting first, but that doesn't match up with the bounty hunter like lifestyle of Hans, the outlaw lifestyle of Hans. Um, so that's what I've heard. Correct? Okay. Study IQ says, which movie is your favorite? My favorite trilogy of the poll would be Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is absolutely way up there for me, and it has to be the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings to be fully enjoyed in their fullest glory. I would say between the Two Towers and the Return of the King, it's very, very, very difficult for me to choose what I love more because I really, really like the fighting and dialogue of the Two Towers, but the full, satisfying, beautiful endings of the Return of the King are so incredible that they're next level. So I really do hold the trilogy together as the exposition, the enjoyable, and the beautiful ending of the Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. So they are absolutely fantastic. Todd says, I love the extended Lord of the Rings as well. Star Wars 10 out of 10. Lord of the Rings 9.9 out of 10. I mean, if it's that close, I don't begrudge that Star Wars vote one bit. That is pretty darn close. Bryant says, what Charlotte tournament should I try to make happen late summer to fall? Late summer to fall, that's a tough one. The big one is Charlotte Amateur Championship, which is early June, mid-June. So that's not late summer to fall. I know that. But I'm just kind of shouting out like that's the big one. That's the big one. I'm trying to remember. I know there's a bigger one later in the year. I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to keep my eyes open on that. I know that there's something that's going to be coming up. I kind of just have my eyes on if I can make Charlotte Amateur Championship happen, I will. But then it's kind of like U.S. AMs, Amateur Worlds, and U.S. Amateur Doubles, kind of the big ones for me. So I haven't really thought ahead too much toward the fall for Charlotte. But if I kind of figure out what those big ones are, then I'll let you know what's coming up. Jim, you says you should revisit throwing rollers and do some shorts. I threw an Envy roller 405 feet at 60 years old last summer, thanks to a very favorable wind. Yeah. So yeah, rollers. If you're familiar with my game, if you watch my videos, you've probably seen me throw like 2 rollers. I think I have like 2 or 3 rollers on my channel. I tried to throw one on purpose and it was really bad. I threw a couple of rollers in practice and had one top out over 400, but not crazy. So I do have just very, very few videos, but I do have a couple of rollers on the channel. But that kind of means that I just don't throw them. I just don't throw rollers. So fair point. It could be something I would benefit from getting more practice with. And I am aware that in certain situations, the roller is extremely useful. It's extremely good. And yeah, it's just kind of like I just don't have that kind of focus to put toward learning rollers and value it as a shot that I need. I think in Charlotte, it's just not a big deal if you can't throw rollers. Maybe a forehand pitch out roller now and then can really help you kind of navigate down the fairway when you're in a tough spot. So, that's fair enough. But yeah, it's probably something I would benefit from. Probably something I would benefit from. So good advice. Todd says, how about Kristen beating number 2 by like 50 strokes? Insanity. Everyone bow to your queen, Kristen. That's just, it's demonstrable of her dominance. She is just that good. Now, I don't know, was that Jonesboro or was that Texas State's? Because those are both this weekend, right? Texas State's and Jonesboro. I didn't actually keep up too much. Dugit says, this guy looks like Ed Sheeran. First, that doesn't count as an Ed Sheeran reference. It wasn't somebody we don't know. Yes, I have gotten the Ed Sheeran comment a handful of times. It's true. I have none of the musical talent, but I guess there's a mild resemblance. I have a little bit of the red hair. I do have a little red in the mustache, in the beard, especially. I don't know that I've ever found a red hair on top of my head. I'm sure that there's a few scattered, but it is kind of the beard and mustache. Like Ed Sheeran eating soup, uncanny. I get it, uncanny because you take the soup out of the can and eat it from the bowl. Good pun. Avery says, have you tried the PA3 300 Ultra Soft? I have held one, and they're very interesting. They're floppy, but I have not tried it yet. I've not thrown or tried putting with it, but they do look very interesting. Yes, I'm intrigued by the Ultra Soft. I personally don't enjoy super like floppy discs. Grew up not liking computers. Just the super floppy discs. I don't feel like I get a clean release with them. I think because I use the fan grip, it just kind of doesn't work as well. But that's a personal thing. So that's on me. It's just the way that I throw. I just feel like I don't tend to throw the floppier discs too well. But I like that they exist. And I found a lot of people really benefit from the floppier discs. I've seen a lot of people who will just kind of throw their approach shots, and instead of throwing at the basket, they'll just spike hyzer it in. And as it lands, it just hits the ground and like flops, falls over exactly where it lands, just plops down. So I think they're beneficial. I know the PA3s aren't that floppy, but when you have that kind of flex to it, it does have that benefit of staying close by where it lands. But I tend not to personally kind of feel that I have benefit to throwing those discs. Chase says, dude, that's a hot take. Not gonna lie, once you mention it, I do kind of see it. Oh, dude, it says just scored a -5 through 9 with only a proxy. That's how it's done. Yeah, get that disc, one disc practice in. Proxy, best disc confirmed. Bryant says Jonesboro, I think, for Kristen Tatar. So yeah, I did see a little bit of Jonesboro. I wasn't watching, but I saw scores because, I wasn't kind of following the Jomez for it. So I was just kind of like, whatever, just catch up on scores here and there. I did see the winner for MPO as well. And yeah, I just feel like Kristen is dominant and she probably would have won no matter what. But I'm guessing the field was not stacked. So that kind of would explain why she won by so much if the field just kind of didn't have some of the best out there playing. Let's see. I'm going to check scores here. So Jonesboro Open. FPO. So good night. She won by 23 strokes. 23. Holy cow. Yeah, you just don't have, yeah. When you have a small field, when you have 12 in the field, that's going to happen. I'm actually surprised that Aaron Gossage didn't win on the MPO side of things. I'm a little bit surprised that Goose didn't win. He probably missed like 15 circle one putts throughout the tournament. He's been struggling a little bit with that C1 putting. Yeah, Silva was there, Cat was there. So there's a couple, but with only 12 in the field, I am not shocked that Kristen went out and won and decimated everyone. I am surprised that it was 23. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Like, that's full on domination. That's just crazy. Dude just says, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah. Jim says, after a total shoulder reconstruction surgery, all I could do during rehab was a little T-Rex roller. I ended up getting pretty good at them. My best claim to fame with a forehand roller was I was on a slope and I was probably 90 feet from the pin, but I had trees in the way, and I had somebody walking by on a like pedestrian walking path, and I went down to a knee and I like flicked my putter and it rolled on angle on the hillside. It swung down the hill, swung up the hill, hit the pin, and fell and just sat right next to it. And the pedestrian was like, "What? How did you do that?" And I was like, I don't know. I just did it right, I guess. Have not thrown or rolled a disc better than that since. Just kind of a random, pulled it out of nowhere. But yes, I have thrown a couple of decent forehand rollers. It makes sense that the forehand roller is really a way to go. Zalan says, what's the story behind the plates? So these are disc golf discs. These are technically discs. They're not plates, although if you have to, yes, you could eat off of one of them, like Chris, or not Chris, like Andy and April do in gosh, I can't think straight. Parks and Rec. But yes, these are competitive discs to be thrown on a disc golf course. So every disc flies a little bit differently. This disc, for instance, when I throw it backhand, will kind of go to the right. It'll just drift off to the right during its flight. But other discs are designed to go straight or to fade left or to turn and swing and come back. And they all have just kind of a little bit of difference to their flight. So everything behind me is a disc that has a design to it to fly a certain way. And those, this disc is a driver and this disc is a putter. And the putter is not supposed to go as far, and it's often used for going into, for throwing it into the basket, for trying to make it into the chains. And a driver is usually for distance off the tee. So, yep, these are not plates. They are discs. And discs are different than frisbees. Frisbees, different than discs. Good question. Bryant says, when will you have guests on YouTube Live? So I have plans to add a guest at some point to my YouTube Live, but it will be after my Michigan trip. So May, basically. But I am excited to kind of dip into that a little bit. So, and I am planning to have Bryant as my first guest, just so all of you know. Jim says, forehand rollers, can't do backhand rollers very well yet. Oh, yes, Todd, thank you for the shout out. So I'm doing a 5-disc giveaway. If you haven't heard, well, I should say it's a 4-disc giveaway because Jim won this one by counting all of my discs. I have a Garrett Gurthie signed Emperor. I have a Kristen Tatar stamped 2 times Saint Pro. I have an Owl stamped Shrike. And have a nice little die on this MVP Terra donated by Blaze. So these discs are potentially available in a disc giveaway. I have a short it's not a short, but it's a 3-minute-ish video titled something like 5-disc giveaway for 5,000 subscribers on my channel. If you find that video and leave a comment, you will be entered into the giveaway. So that is available on my channel. Go check that out. And then come right back to the live really fast so that we can keep hanging out. But yes, doing that giveaway, and not too many people are entered. So you've got a decent chance of winning one of the 4 discs. Zalan says, now I'm half a world away, sadly. Yeah, that's pretty far. Thomas says, I enjoy playing disc golf, but still have a lot of practice at throwing, struggling to get past 175 feet. So welcome to the stream, Thomas. Thanks for hopping on. I would say that if you're looking for advice, that grip is the first place to look. in my opinion, if you're reasonably healthy and fit, I think you can throw over 200 feet for the most part. I think it's true of most people. And I think that the main thing will be grip. And the second thing will be your form in general, but kind of how you take steps and move your body to throw the disc. And I think if you have good grip and decent form, that you can throw 250. If you're in reasonable shape, if you're in reasonable health. So I would look into grip. I'll grab a disc. I'll use the giveaway disc. So I use the power grip myself, the fan grip. A lot of people do the power grip or some variation of it where you have three fingers on the rim. But the main thing you have to avoid is you can't throw like I used to throw a frisbee. You just can't throw with your index finger on the rim. You got to get it hooked underneath. When you really get that swing down with a hooked finger or a few fingers hooked, the disc will snap out of your hand so much faster, and it is life changing. I think somebody fell off their skateboard. When I first threw a disc correctly with good grip, and it actually flew and drifted to the right and swung back, I was in love. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to play this sport more. So it seems like you already love disc golf, which is awesome. But yeah, that's the big thing, in my opinion, is making sure that you've got good grip. And then otherwise, how your feet are planted, the way that you kind of use your body mechanics to throw the disc makes a huge difference. Practice is big, but you want to practice doing things the right way. So looking up form videos might be very helpful as well. Also, make sure you comment on my giveaway video. Okay. Todd says, the jig's up, Zalan. I'm a dirty liar, not to be trusted. That was the lie. He is to be trusted. Zalan says, are all the discs from every match you played in? So that's a great question. A lot of the tournaments that I played in, I got a player's pack disc. So I'll grab one. Not that one. This one is a great example. So the Fox Flyers have their kind of logo and their stamp on this disc. And every time I played in one of their tournaments as an amateur, I got a disc from them. So a bunch of my discs are Fox Flyers stamped discs. Then I have a buddy, Blaze, who has given me probably over a dozen discs toward my collection. Some of these I won. I got to pick out discs as prizes. Some of them I bought myself. Some of them I got merchandise credit for playing well, and I used my credit to buy more discs. So I've just kind of accrued them over the long term. And then I have a stack of putters that are all the same, and I use these for practicing my putting so that I'm, confident when I'm on the putting green in the middle of my round. But yeah, great question. That is how I got a lot of my discs. Todd says, hey, Tommy boy. Bryant says, my best forehand roller was at 18 at Charlotte. We played in the woods tee, threw a roller all the way from the hill to the pin, went so far it almost rolled out of bounds in a USCGC qualifier. Holy cow. Tristan's here. Welcome, Tristan. Tristan the Piston. Todd says, my fat belly is the only thing keeping me from 350. I'm sure of it. Jim says, awesome roller, Bryant. Love the stamp on the disc that was gifted. How do I get one? Yes, great question. Is there a way to get one of those awesome stamped discs, Bryant? Oh gosh. Skipping Todd. Thomas says, thanks for the tips. Obviously I don't know what you're doing, what your form looks like. So of course I can't truly kind of give you advice for you. But I hope it helps. I hope it helps. And I have a lot of confidence that you can jump up from 175 to 250 in a manner of days if you get a few things figured out. So I know that you can do it, and I hope you can, because it's a lot of fun to start throwing a little bit farther. All right. Oh gosh. AQ says, what advice do you have for helping keep your elbow out to avoid rounding? Thanks. One of the biggest things that helped me avoid rounding was my foot placement. I don't know if that's going to help for everyone. But when I'll just make this kind of simple. When I was on the tee pad here and I had my feet parallel to each other and then I went to throw, I was kind of rounding. But when I had my plant foot for on the left side of the tee pad, it opened up my throw so that my throwing was better. So if my feet are planted like below my shoulders, then when I'm trying to throw, I have to go around my body. But if my right foot is planted forward from my face, but kind of left, toward the target on my tee pad, I'm able to throw like this instead of like this. So if your shoulders are lined up with the basket and your feet are below your shoulders, you're going to be hitting your own self trying to get the disc through. But when you have your foot in the right place, it opens up your throw so that you're able to throw. So that I think that might be kind of what you're getting at, and that is what helped me prevent my rounding was my foot placement. So there's a really great Joel Freeman video. I think it's called "Can't Throw 400 Feet. Here's Why" or something like that, and it shows his foot placement on the tee. I think on the thumbnail. So I recommend that video. I think it's really good for avoiding rounding. So I hope that helps. Innova Dragon Lover says, "Hey Dugit, can you see me in chat?" Yeah, I was gonna say it's Doc. Yep, there it is. Innova Dragon. As soon as I saw the name, I knew it was Doc. And then he mentioned soup right away. Too many soup jokes. Yeah, I definitely didn't ban Doc. No, it's just not being seen. That's really weird. So Doc, were you leaving chats and they just weren't popping up? Because that sucks. I definitely wasn't ignoring you or anything like that. Like, I don't know why that was happening. Yeah, that's really weird. That's really weird. Can you see if I was banned? Yeah, I can check. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if I can do it right now. But I'll check into that, Doc. I'm really sorry that that's happening. I don't think that you're banned from the channel. Yeah. Thomas says that he bags a dragon. Yeah, there's is that it? No. Whatever. Dragon. Okay. You can benefit from it, sure. I don't think it's a great disc, in my opinion. Tristan says, don't know if you heard yet, but you didn't make it into the DDGL Championship, the Distance League. But I was praying for it. I did hear. The news was already broken to me. It's tough. I really was very close to having an outstanding round last week, and I just hit the cage multiple times, hit the band, and then chained out of my last putt, 50-footer uphill, full chains, and it just landed on the basket and flopped out. So it was kind of brutal. It was just so close to just outstanding, and it just ended up, but not good enough, especially for that punishing handicap. Holy cow. Soup always gets us in the end. That and cheese. Dragons are good for old people with hand issues. Okay. Yeah, can't really look at the banned users. Yeah, that's so strange. I mean, you shouldn't be listed as a banned user. Truly. Let's see if I can actually find that real quick. So props and shout out to Doc's dedication that he makes or uses a separate YouTube called Innova Dragon Lover just to join the live chat. Okay, let's see. Settings. I think this is the incorrect way to get to my settings. I think I want to go to my channel and then go to settings from here. Nope, it's not helpful. Huh. Where is it? Oh, I'm not managing my channel. I see. I was in the wrong place. Community. Nope, I'm still in the wrong place. There it is. All right, community moderation. Da, da, da. That's weird. Okay, Doc, you were in the list of hidden users somehow. So I've removed you from the list of hidden users. You are no longer in the hidden. You are no longer in the hidden users along with Eats Farts. So you have been freed from that. Thank you for letting me know that that had happened. All right, so I got that saved. And Doc is already back. That was fast. Strange. Okay. Uh, Tristan says, Bradley, if you could play in just one DGPT tournament, which one would you want to play in? That's a really great question. Let's see. I have to decide if I want to try to pick a tournament I think I could actually play okay in, or pick a tournament that would just be awesome to participate in. So I would almost want to say something like New London, because if it's more technical and tough for the pros, there's kind of that chance that I play okay and kind of score all right against the pros who are struggling. So something in that type of circumstance might benefit me. Anything that's bomber, it's not for me. So I would want to play like Champions Cup or New London or something like that. Um, Throw Down the Mountain is kind of like a maybe. There are a few massive shots, but there's a lot more line hits. So that would lend a slight amount toward my strength. Maybe Maple Hill, although some of the water carries are a bit far. That's a tough one. Not Toboggan. That's too difficult. Uh, all right, Doc is back. Doc is back. Was in good company. Yeah, great question. I'll have to say I'm torn, but I'll go with New London. Yeah, whatever tournament's taking place there this year. Right. Might because of that issue Chad in the late 80s can't talk about it here. Oh gosh. Brad was sleepwalking and banned me. I might have. It's possible. I have been known. I have woken up at 2:30, 3:30 a.m. and not been able to sleep and checked comments and replied to them. So it's a chance that my fingers slipped. Maybe I tried to make you a mod and I did it wrong. Yep, glad we got it fixed. Oh gosh. Todd says, "Who hid you? There's a traitor among us." Doc says Brad was gonna say had a video idea. In your bag, you interview different level folks and talk about their bag. Ooh, that's a great idea. That'd be very interesting. Just kind of do a quick little glimpse into a bunch of random people's disc golf bags. Hmm. Yeah, I like it. I'll be thinking about that one. That one's a good suggestion. I like it. Thank you. Thomas has found the 5 disc giveaway video. Heck yeah, you probably got that comment left on it. Luke says it could have been him that banned Doc, but he wouldn't do it for no reason. Yeah, but I mean, I'm guessing it was an accident. I don't know what happened. I'm really glad that you shouted it out and we got it fixed. But yeah, I'm not sure how it happened. Maybe you made somebody really mad. Todd says, "Good. He's with Luke. Good job, Luke. Always thought Doc needed to be silenced." To be fair, Matthew, Mark, and John were always my favorite. Sorry, Luke. Hey, Brent's here. Brent, how's the foot doing? Is it swollen even more? Have the pain meds worn off? Luke says that he's cool with Doc. Good, good. I'm glad you guys are. There's no beef here. Uh, and Doc says, and have them talk about their first disc, the first disc that made them love the sport. Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool little interview. And Doc says, "Oh, okay." And to be fair, Luke is my favorite book in the Bible. Uh-oh, Justin comes forward. Justin says, I accidentally blocked Doc last week right as the live ended. So he probably even was gonna undo it, and then I like cut the stream at the last second. Doc says that we've got beef, but it's triple G jerky. Triple G instead of double G, huh? That's rude. Brent says the foot is purple. Oh, I don't know if you sent me a picture. I've got the phone running the live stream, Brent, so I'm not looking at your pictures of your feet. Ugh. Bryant says I would love to personally love to do the New Zealand swing. Looks gorgeous. Part of the reason why Lord of the Rings is up there for me, but not better than Star Wars. Yeah, I had a round with Sullivan Tipton where we were on the same card of a doubles round, not the same team. And he told me this was over a year ago that he was about to head to New Zealand to play some courses, and that they were going to be able to see where they filmed Helm's Deep from a disc golf course. You can see where they filmed Helm's Deep. That's awesome. That's awesome. New Zealand, if it wasn't so crazy windy, I would pick New Zealand. Yeah. Doc says that double G, it's triple G to his friends. Actually, Doc, to his real friends who know his middle name, it does not start with a G. It starts with a B. Jose says, what is your message to the world? My overall message to the world is God loves you and he wants you to trust in him with your life. I'm a Christian, and that's the most important thing to me. My second message to the world is disc golf is a real sport, and it's a lot of fun, and you should try it, especially if you have kids or a significant other. It's a great way to spend time together out in nature. It's healthy, it's good for you, and it's just fun. It's just enjoyable. Tony says, hello from the UK. Hello, Tony. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Appreciate you being here. And hey, your name is Tony UK, just to make sure we get it that you're from the UK. That's a good way to make it very, very clear. Glad you're able to hop on and join us. Jim says you should play the Vineyard Social next year in Martha's Vineyard, always around St. Patrick's Day. Jake runs a fun little tournament. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. Yeah, I'll try to keep that one on the list if possible. Doc says heel surgery, Brent. No, Doc. You were banned at this point, so you didn't hear it. Brent kicked a tree. He just decided that he hated the tree. He kicked it. He did that, of course, the day before he and I had been planning on our doubles qualifier, and we barely missed qualifying for USA DGC doubles today by just 2 shots. And I'm not naming names. I'm not blaming anybody. I missed a couple 35-footers. Brent hit a couple of sweet putts, but we had 3 healthy feet out of 4. And I think if we have 4, I think we managed to qualify, if not outright win, the tournament. Todd says, many don't know, it's Garrett Gobblefrog Girthy. No? Actually? No, I won't spoil it. Alright, I'll spoil it. Garrett's middle name is Bradley, which I found out by introducing myself and finding out that my name is his middle name. Thomas says, my newest disc I bought was a Mako 3. Yeah, Mako 3 is a great disc. Mako 3 is fantastic. Nice neutral flight. I actually had one. I had 2. I had a beaten in champion one that would drift just a little bit for me. Oh, sweet. And then I had an orange one that I gave to my brother-in-law right away, and he immediately bagged it and threw it a lot. He threw it well forehand. So that one disappeared from my collection. Oh gosh. Doc says I bought many new discs. Whatnot, of course. Brent says Doc self-inflicted possible cracked bone. Yeah, that's gonna take a while. Evil Tree, yeah, sure. Oh, here we go. Oh boy. Todd's Disc Golf says, Christian pop quiz, what are 3 out of 4 verses that comprise the famous Romans Road? Well, Romans 3:23 and Romans 6:23. Romans 5:8 and Romans, oh shoot, 9:10, I believe. No, it's not Romans 9:10. It's Romans 10:9 and 10. So close. So very close. Da, 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 da. Doc says he's going to buy Brent steel-toed shoes. I think Brent kicked with the top of his foot. So, although the boots would have helped. 360 Sonic fan says, who's your favorite Power Ranger? My favorite Power Ranger. Actually, I did not like the Power Rangers growing up. Just a personal thing. I really liked Sonic though. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic X. That was such a good show. Favorite Power Ranger, green. Brent says, listen, I play like a 915 rated player with 1 foot. Hey, Brent hit a couple of really important putts for us. Almost hit a couple. Brent almost aced. He hit the top of the cage. He scooped out of the basket, like barely missed a change, just scooped out of the basket. I almost aced. I was about 2 feet left of chains, 335 feet downhill. Like we really wanted the ace out there. Yeah, just missed too many putts, too many circle 2 putts. I think we were 100% C1. But if we were in the circle, it was like we were 12 feet. And then there were no 20, 25 footers. It was 12 feet or 35 feet. And then we missed. Thomas says, I can understand wanting to kick a tree as many as I've hit. Yeah, Brent kicked the tree after missing a putt. Doc says, one of my best friends is a tree, but yes, some trees are evil. Yes, Treebeard is a good friend. Also, the Deku tree was a good friend. Dude just says, I'm in a tornado warning in my basement right now. Pretty fun. Yeah, dude. That's a little scary. I hope it's just no big thing. I have in Michigan, we had tornado warnings occasionally, and we were always safe. It wasn't really scary, but it can be very scary and dangerous, and I hope that's not the case. I hope it's a kind of quick warning and then it's passed and everything's fine. Brent says, I didn't hear your response. Did I send you a picture of my foot? I have not looked at my phone since 6:28 when I started the live stream, and I am in no hurry to see a giant swollen purple foot. No thanks. If I wanted to see a purple foot, I would watch Barney the Dinosaur. Yeah. Yeah, Brent almost hit the ace. Oh, it would have been so sweet. I called it 80 feet out of his hand on a 210-foot hole. I was like, oh, go in. Or, oh, ace it, something like that. And then, yeah, drawing metal is drawing metal, but man, it was so close. 2 inches left and it's in. 360 Sonic fan says, good pick. All right, great. Doc says, pink Power Ranger. I was hoping she would marry me. Didn't work out. Doc says, Brent, you broke your foot to make it a level playing field. Respect. Yeah, there were at least 25 teams in the field, and we were on pace to be top 3. Like, we certainly were going to be top 3. I think if Brent was 100% healthy, we would have won. We ended up, what did we end up? 4 strokes back from first place, 2 strokes back from third, and we ace ran the last 2 holes because we didn't have a chance to qualify anymore. We went par birdie. Brent says, see, Doc knows what I mean. Trying to give everyone else a chance and not make the team look so lopsided. It's not that giant. Doc says, Brent Barney is 6 inches tall, all smoke and mirrors. No, he's only tall at certain points. He is like a small dinosaur sometimes, but then he's massive other times. It's magic. Like it's literally it's magic because you have to just believe as a child and then you'll see it, but your parents can't know and your parents can't see. So yeah, that's always great. Teach your children that they need to keep secrets from their parents and that only they can see things their parents can't understand. Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Really awesome. Uh, Doc says, why are you watching so much Barney? Discs on the wall, are y'all in a safe place? uh, no Barney for me. Nope, no Barney. Brent says, I wish I could share a picture of my purple foot. I don't think it's gonna earn any money, Brent. Okay, I don't think it's. What have we devolved into? Thank you, Thomas Harris. Ever played any courses in North Carolina? Great question. I'm in North Carolina right now. I just played Kilbourne in Charlotte for our Brent and my doubles qualifier. Just played yesterday at Bailey. Um, I played Hornets Nest recently. Brent and I were doing some practice. I've just played Nevin in the Queen City Gambit last week. Yeah, last week, along with Eastway. And last year, my brother and I we tied for fifth in the U.S. Amateur Doubles at Winthrop and Westminster um, in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So I have been in the area a fair amount recently, and currently I am now in Charlotte, just moved. Uh, oh my gosh, Doc with $2 says Barney foot found. Oh my word. I'm not even gonna like that comment. I'm just gonna accept it and say thank you. Barney. Todd says, is that foot money? uh Shutter says, how about Murfreesboro, Tennessee? Is that March Madness? I don't follow March Madness. I don't care. I did see that Tennessee was being destroyed though, right? Thomas says, sweet, live in North Carolina. Heck yeah. Are you in the Charlotte area or are you elsewhere in North Carolina? Asheville or, I don't know North Carolina very well, but I know that there's a lot of state for sure. Talk says, just sad Johnson's footbath is no longer being sold. Thomas, Brad's got an open invitation to play with his fans. We are the Soup Gang. Uh, yeah, if you're able to be near Charlotte and you want to play some disc golf, I will try to make it happen. It's true. I think that saying it's an open invitation is hyperbole. It's a bit of an exaggeration, and it's the reason Doc doesn't have mod yet. But yes, the potential to be able to play disc golf together, if we're able to get around it, I would love to do that. Shutter says disc golf. So what am I missing with that comment? I'm not understanding the Tennessee reference in the comment, Shutter. Sorry. Thomas is on the coast. Okay. On the coast. So at least 3 hours away, I would guess. Too bad. Oh my gosh. Soup. Doc says birdie soup for the Christian disc golfer soul. Todd says boom, that's Brad's first book. I tried to write a book when I was a kid. I was writing the book. I had a notebook, a Winnie the Pooh notebook. I was fairly young. And I was writing it. I had a whole story, started multiple pages into it, and it got ran over in the parking lot and pretty much destroyed. So that was crushing as a child, as a young budding author. I would say that writing a book is next level for sure, but I do write pretty well, just kind of as a whole. But yeah, writing a book is next level. That'd be fun though. Oh, Brent's saying that Shutter's asking if I've played in Tennessee. I have not played in Tennessee. Yeah, sorry, I didn't understand that, but no, I have not played in Tennessee. I've played in Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Florida, and Massachusetts. That's pretty much it, I think. Illinois. Nano Remo, great for anyone wanting to write a book. Todd says, and I never touched a pencil again. Yeah. Actually, I'm bad at writing physically. I'm much better at typing. I mean, you saw my signature. This is my signature. Does that look like someone who has good penmanship? No. I do not have good penmanship. I had a special class for writing as a child so that I could write legibly. Clayton says, "Can I be modded?" I mod slowly. So if you're here for a few like weeks in a row interacting with the stream and you're here for the long term, then I might mod. But the fact that Doc isn't a mod yet should be a warning for everyone. I hesitate to mod quickly. So if you're here for the long term and you're hanging around, then mod is on the table. But I definitely don't jump and mod people really fast. Gotta trust people. Slow to trust. Todd says that is true. LOL, true. That is the worst signature I've ever seen. And what's even better is I practiced it before I did it, and it still came out bad. Titus says you're gonna be in Tampa area anytime soon. Ooh, it's probably gonna be a little while. I lived in Gainesville for 3 years before I just moved to Charlotte. So I came down to Tampa once or twice. I had a lesson with Johnny McRae, which was really, really cool. At I think his home, no, not his home course, a course that he designed. That was really awesome. But otherwise, my kind of trips to Tampa are pretty limited. I did play in the Florida War, and we did knock Tampa out of the War in a playoff during the first War weekend. So I hope you don't hold that against me if you're involved in the Tampa leagues. But I was the final putt made in the putt off playoff, and we did win by one putt. So sorry, Tampa. But no, Tampa. I'd love to get back to Florida if I can. But my traveling is pretty limited. So it's possible, but I don't have anything scheduled, unfortunately. Thomas says, "How long have you been playing disc golf?" So I've been playing for 3 years, just maybe 3 years and I guess 4 months now. So coming up on 3.5 years. But yeah, I started playing and I just really loved it. So I started playing constantly, just all the time. And when I moved to Florida about 3.5 years ago, I realized that at the time I was just interested in disc golf, but I realized I could play it year round. And that was really exciting. So I just kind of dove all the way in. And yeah, since then, I started the channel, started posting YouTube shorts and then longer videos, and now the live streams. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Played in tons of tournaments. Um, just really enjoying it. My claim to fame is that I played the Charlotte Roar Open, and I ended up on lead card with Paul Ulibarri, and I beat him. Todd says we all saw what happens when everyone is a mod. Just look at you, Justin. Justice for Doc. Brent says, "Listen, this guy hasn't even modded me, and I've played disc golf with him like every week for the last 2 months." Hey, Brent was an oversight. Brent will get mod. Can I mod him right now? Oh, I could put him in timeout. Should I put Brent in timeout? All right. Brent's in timeout. Doesn't even look like it says Ed Todd. Doc says, "I don't blame Justin, Todd. I blame the society that let Justin be modded." Justin is a good mod. He just made a mistake. Oh, here we go. Here's a great violent question from Namiak. "Do you think you could weaponize the discs and cut people in half?" And Doc says that's what the buzzsaw is for. Perfect comment. Perfect response. That's great. Also the katana. Where's my katana? Ugh. That's also what the katana is for. Well, first, obviously, it would be foolish to put blades all the way around because it'd be tough to throw. You'd cut your own hand. But yes, I think that you could weaponize discs by attaching sharp, blade to the majority of it and then kind of throw it. It wouldn't fly right, but you could manage it. You could make that happen. I don't think that you could cut people in half, but yes, I think you could potentially kill someone with a sharp disc with like razor blades. Excuse me. The frisbee saying katana. Yeah. Yeah, it's even better that I have a katana on the shelf and I know where it is. Yeah, the buzzsaw has like a saw blade design in the rim all the way around, but I mean the katana is named katana, so it's perfect. Thomas says picked up disc golf about a month ago. Don't have anyone experienced to play with, so I watch a whole lot of YouTube videos. I mean the way that a lot of people start learning is watching YouTube, and I hope that my channel is beneficial and helpful. I do kind of lack instructional kind of teaching content. Up till like very recently, I haven't truly felt like I'm fully qualified to try to tell people the right way to do things. So I've kind of shifted towards saying, here's what I do. This is what's helped me. But I do have a putting video, and I do have a kind of disc golf basics video, how to play the sport, what the kind of basic rules are of kind of getting from tee pad to basket. So feel free to check those out. Those are recent videos that I made, and I think that they're good, helpful videos, but there are tons more that could be made. And other people have already made better videos than I'm capable of making for form. So I'm not in any hurry to try to make, an instructional video for every aspect of disc golf. But I do plan to make a circle two putting video kind of soon when I have the space for that. And more about PDJ rules, how to play the sport the right way to follow the rules. So yeah, I have more kind of instructional content coming, but hopefully what I do have is kind of generally helpful for you to be able to kind of see shot shapes and kind of disc flights. But yeah, YouTube's the way to go, man. It's pretty helpful. Doc says no one puts Brent in the timeout corner. Brent is accepted as mod. Doc says, I have pondered if I saw someone being robbed or attacked by a dog at the park, if I could throw a disc and hit them. That'd be hilarious. Doc says, when you have such few discs, of course you know where they are. Hashtag buy more discs. Says the guy who regrets every time he goes on Whatnot. Dude just says, there wasn't even close to a tornado, just some wind. Probably would have thrown 600 with a flippy destroyer. Glad that everything is safe. Doc says, leagues are great for encouraging noobs usually. Yes, I've had good and bad experiences with leagues, but a lot of leagues are good opportunity for newer players to kind of learn the ropes, especially if you have random draw doubles. Now, there are people who go to doubles. Like, I go to doubles to win, but if I get a new player on my team, I let go of the idea of winning in terms of like competitive effort. Like, I'm trying to do my best, but I'm not expecting my teammate to be with me. So I want to win, but I don't like push somebody who's not prepared to play at that level with me. So if I get somebody who's new to the sport, I'm going to shift from compete to fun, and I'm still going to try to do my best, but I'm going to have a great time with it. Some people aren't able to do that, and they'll get really kind of mad if they get a newer player as their doubles partner, and that's on them. Don't let them stop you from experiencing the good side of league, but it might be helpful for you to just kind of be aware that there are people who will be extremely competitive and probably condescending and maybe even outright rude to players who are new. And that's wrong. They shouldn't do that. That's really douchey. I think that's a huge like negative element of a lot of leagues, is that they can be unwelcoming to newer players. My experience was that I played a lot alone and I got decent quickly. And when I did go to league, I found that I could keep up with or beat players who have been playing for 10 years because they played with a beer in hand with their buddies for 10 years casually and thought they were really good. And then I came from 15 years of soccer as an athlete, and I said, I'm going to try to get as good as I can at the sport. And in 2 years, I was beating them. And so that can happen where you get kind of jealousy coming from league members who have played a long time. And it's interesting that narrow window between condescension to worse players and jealousy of better players. That can happen at league. So not to stop you from going to league, but kind of just to give a fair warning. You just never know exactly what your local league is going to look like. There are great leagues out there, and I do encourage you to give it a shot. Todd says, uh, Todd gives a shout out for his own channel to a short titled Dangerous Disc Golf to see what a disc can do to a human body. I have for a while been interested in doing a series of videos on like throwing a disc into cantaloupe and watermelon and certain things like that, kind of like Mythbusters style, but with a lot of different objects to see what a disc can do to them. And so that's kind of been on my list for a while. If you're local and you have a net, I'm interested in talking. So let me know. Doc says league or club could also be called a collection of soup aficionados. Of course. Jim says a chakram is for cutting people in half. Doc says prefer when doubles are like first and last, second and second from last in skill, etc. Yeah, we had a fun chain reactions casual event where it was like that. Highest rated and lowest rated were paired up. Second highest, which I think was Brent, and second lowest paired up. Third, fourth. I think I was fourth. And that was really fun. What ends up happening with that a lot of the time is that the two people in the middle who are both decent end up having one of them shoot well, and then they'll win. And the people who are really, really good with someone who's not struggle because whenever they make a mistake, they immediately are punished for it. But somebody in the middle who messes up, their partner can kind of compensate for it. Bryant says, will the live invite be like an interview or structured? What are you thinking? Prepping and praying now. So I'm planning on doing a bit of interview, kind of Q&A. Yeah. And so that's my kind of plan, is doing like introduction Q&A, and then open up the floor to some questions from the audience. That's kind of my thought process. Doc says, don't be afraid to try various leagues, different courses. Yes, if you have multiple leagues, feel free to do that. I did that in Gainesville, and I did find the league that everybody is just smoking noxious clouds of weed and are just upset that you're there because they don't know you yet. And the league that, people are kind of like just there to hang out and have a good time. I liked one of those leagues better, to hang out and have a good time. Todd says, that's why I don't go to leagues. I'm sensitive. Doc says, it's not like gangs where you are Jets or Sharks. I mean, Jet for life, but after Maria. Should we have a virtual birdie time league? Yes, we should. That's a great question. I'm wondering at what point we start like a Discord or something, and we do some type of virtual competition or something. Yeah. I think this might be bad. I think you guys should start something. I don't know. That scares me a little bit. Doc says, Brent, if Brad asks you to be in his next video, maybe say no. Brent's already injured. Todd says, please do that, Brad. I'd love to see a disc versus cantaloupe. I would love to do that. I just need a net so that I can throw full power, and when I miss, hit a net. That is like the thing that stopped me from making those videos. So I really just need a net. Brent says, I won't be able to be in a video unless I want to suffer. I need to let my foot heal. Poor foot. Poor tree. Doc says, would be neat to see a driver mid putter versus cantaloupe. Yeah, I would test different sharpness levels of discs. Yeah. And a frisbee. I'll throw my ultimate disc. It'll leave my hand and turn over 15 degrees by the time it hits, the cantaloupe 10 feet away, but that's fine. Brent says third highest and Jacob was second. So I must have been fourth then, because I was like 2 behind you at that point. Doc says, yeah, Brent, but bad foot would be hard for you to run when he throws at your head. Doc says, competition to see who's got the most wardens. Most wardens. Well, let's see. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Technically, I have a 23rd one that's getting dyed. 23. All right, I have 23 wardens. Does anybody have more than 23 wardens? Wait. 24. Does anyone have more than 24 wardens? Todd has 2. Doc says, Brad, look for a soccer field that's public. I am worried about soccer nets. I've thrown through them before. So I am concerned about, ripping it right through the net. And I don't want to leave a bunch of vegetable and fruit residue out on the soccer field. As a soccer player, I would hate to show up for practice and be like, what is all these cantaloupe seeds doing in our goal? What's going on? So yeah, I mean, public soccer field, that's one thing. So I'll think about it. But yeah, I have thrown discs through soccer nets. I know nets come in different sized holes. So it's possible, but yeah. Todd says one of them is a Zelda warden, so it counts as 10. I'll give you that. Zelda warden counts as 10, 100%. If it was a Link, it would count as 30. Doc says, Brad's Soup Discord, working on it now. Doc says, Brad, trash bag and a tennis court. Trash bag and a tennis court. Yeah, that'd be messy. I'd make a bet. I'd mess it up. Doc says 23 wardens. I'll count mine for next time. Yeah, 24. 24. I have heard, Doc, have heard about your warden that's stamped to look like a paper plate. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Titus says yes for sure. Is that a yes for the discs destroying fruits and vegetables and making a mess? Jim says practice cutting cantaloupes in front of a brick wall if you need to beat in a disc. Ooh, poor disc. I get it, but man, that just hurts me. It hurts me. Maybe I'll do that with my Glow Nate Sexton Firebird. Maybe I'll just beat that in real quick on a brick wall. That might work. I did not fill my water all the way up. So this is the leftover remnants after the doubles. So my water is already running low. It's going to be great. Brian says, sounds good, brother. Proud of you for being consistent. Keep up the good work. Absolutely, man. Thank you for joining. As always, Bryant, glad to show off your disc one more time for anybody who's just joined. Bryant gave me, but he sent me this sweet stamp, Bryant Voss, with the last name, the cross and the mountains. I mean, it's sweet. And I'm glad I got my hands on one of these, FX3. It's going to be in the bag. And pretty soon, I'll let you guys know how it flies. It's going to be awesome. Jim says, use the dragon. If I want the dragon to just bounce off of the cantaloupe, I'll do that. Daniel says, hey, how are you? Doing great. How are you? Hanging out, talking disc golf, just having a good time. Showing off Bryant's awesome disc that he sent me. Pretty sweet. I absolutely need to get my own stamped discs soon. I really need a graphic designer. Doc says, Jim, how dare you? Okay, Todd says, what's the status of Bhirdietime Gaming? Was literally watching a Dark Souls 3 playthrough when I hopped on this live stream. Bhirdietime Gaming is very, very, very close to launching. I have my console, I have my laptop, and I have the capture card for streaming. And I have done about 18 to 20 sound test clips where I'm getting my voice, the game levels, and the video quality, and trying to get everything balanced and correct. My next step is to test out one more microphone to see if it's way better or if it's basically the same. Step number 2 is to do a short test live stream. I was hoping to do that tomorrow, but I am kind of just swamped with some editing and some other work that I have on my plate. So unfortunately, I don't, excuse me. That's what I get for running out of water. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my test stream tomorrow. Excuse me. Man, do I have? Oh, I might have to get something else to drink. Non-alcoholic, of course. Anyway, yes. So hopefully this week I can get that off the ground. Yeah. So coming soon. And if I haven't said, my first game that I'll be jumping into is going to be Atomfall. So I don't know if you've heard of it. It's somewhat like a Fallout Light. It's a less open world and more kind of condensed map, set in the UK. But Atom Falls sounds like an enjoyable experience. It's going to be interesting. There are going to be interesting people, characters, NPCs to talk to with fun dialogue, some interesting choices. So I'm excited to play it. It's not like a serious shooter necessarily, but kind of a little bit of kind of a survival, limited ammo situation, like survival horror light. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to jump into that. And yeah, hopefully by the end of this week, we will have Birdie Time Gaming full live stream going. So great question. Daniel says, I'm great too. Where are you from? So I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, United States. And I moved from Florida about 3 months ago. I really loved Florida, kind of miss it. But Charlotte disc golf is incredible. And if you haven't picked up on it, I play disc golf. So all of these are discs. Ugh. Disc golf discs. They're all designed to fly a little bit differently. And I go out on the disc golf course, play rounds with these, play tournaments and competitions, and really love the sport. Really love disc golf. And most of us love disc golf. Brent says, got a dip for the evening, spending time with the wife. Y'all have a good evening. Brent, thanks for coming on. Thanks for limping your way through our round. Even though you were injured, we were this close to actually qualifying. So once you're healthy, we'll just dominate. Yeah. Todd says, Fallout Light sounds interesting. I'm in. Yes. Dude just says, when's the giveaway? Next stream? Yes. And good shout out. I'll give a quick little mention of it. That's good. Every time the giveaway comes up, I'll mention it. So I have a 3-minute video called something like 5 disc giveaway for 5,000 subscribers. And I'm giving away 5/4 discs. Jim already won the Jade for correctly counting how many discs I have in my collection. 245, by the way. But at random, for 4 random winners, I will be giving away this owl stamped Shrike, this MVP Terra, donated by Blaze, with a nice little die to it. I'm jealous. I got my Terra stuck in a tree, and I've missed it ever since. Saint Pro, Kristen Tatar 2 times stamped, and Garrett Gerthy signed Emperor. And despite what Doc tries to tell you, it is not triple G, it's just double G. His middle name is Bradley. So yes, giveaway is next stream. So that is going to be April. So if you check out that video, leave a comment on it, you'll be entered into the giveaway. That ends on Saturday, 11:59 p.m. EST, April 5th. And on April 6th, in my next live stream around 7, I'll be running the giveaway. Doc says, thinking about doing a video game stream also. Doc's Oregon Trail Blast. Really reliving the childhood, huh, Doc? Todd says, I think that's going to really blow up. Huge numbers. Doc says, only sad thing, the wife and kids, well, it was rough. Oh, gosh. Daniel says that you have a challenge for me. If it's an appropriate challenge, I'm interested. Go on. Dude just says, full 18-hour playthrough stream, Doc. They died of dysentery, of course. It's always dysentery. It's always dysentery. Bryant says, my 7-year-old son, because of Isaac Robinson, wants to be sponsored by Latitude 64. Any suggestions for good discs for him? Oh, man. 7? 7's pretty young. It's hard to give disc suggestions at that age. So I would probably say a Fuse is going to be like a lifetime disc. Fuse, yeah. Johnny McRae still bags like 3 Fuses. They all fly slightly differently. So I think Fuse is going to be a lifetime disc. Keystone is going to be a great putter especially for throwing. And Bryant, if I ever see you again, I have a Keystone with your name on it for your son. So if we ever manage that, I have an extra Keystone just sitting here for free. Actually, I'll trade you. I don't know for what, but I'll trade you. So Keystone, Fuse, those are a couple of kind of slower to mid speed, slightly understable discs that'll last for the long term. Of course, I recommend the Brave. The Brave will be the best fairway driver you could ever choose. but I would think that fairway would be a little too fast for 7. But yeah, once you get up to higher speed, I think you just can't go wrong with the Brave. It's one of the best fairway drivers to step into with the speed, glide, minimal turn, and fade. So controllable, so good. But yeah, I think Keystone Fuse are a couple good shouts. Oh gosh, all of the Oregon Trail. Dude just says, "Dang, I tried to count them, but estimated the wall and bag ended off by like 35." Yeah, well, shout out to Jim. Jim watched my all the discs in my entire collection video and counted them one by one. So he correctly counted exactly how many discs I had in my collection. And then, what was his name? Frogs and Dogs and Frogs. I think Frogs and something. Guessed it after him, like 30 minutes later on accident. Just a total guess. Guessed it correctly, but Jim had already counted and already submitted his guess. His counted correctly. Daniel M. de Oliveira says, you have to guess where I'm from. I would say Spain. Spain is my guess. Doc says, from your parents. Doc's not wrong. Dude just says, try to fuse and chucked into the water first throw. Doc says, dude, try it again. Dude just says, from your house. Todd says, for a 7-year-old, I'd say get him dyno discs, very light, float, and are made specifically for kids that age. My 9-year-old daughter loves them and loves her lightweight Mako 3. Dude just says, maybe not a slot I need in the bag right now. Brian says, appreciate it. Daniel says, Doc, you are so funny. No, we don't need people telling Doc that he's funny. We don't need Doc encouraged. Yeah, dude, I knew somebody would do it, but I didn't think it would happen in the first 2 hours. I thought it would take at least another day for somebody to actually like sit down and count all of my discs. So props to Jim for doing it right away. I think maybe I should have like made it slightly harder, like made it a little bit confusing exactly how many discs I had, but I didn't do that. I made it like I walked straight through all my discs. Daniel says, good guess, from Brazil. Okay, from Brazil. Nice. It's pretty far. Thanks for hopping on the stream. United States and Brazil hanging out together. Hasn't happened since World Cup 2014. I don't think that's the right year, but that's okay. Doc says was going to count the disc but lost interest. Doc, it's such a small collection. Shouldn't you be able to count it really quickly? Gotcha. Doc says, have heard both sides of the kids debate lightweight easy discs or full weight regular discs for kids. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say like before 10, I don't think full weight makes much sense. But when you're starting to kind of grow taller and kind of head towards being a teenager, then I think full weight, full like normal discs are worthwhile. Dude just says, I usually give siblings more glidey discs like parachutes to have fun with. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Doc says grooves and tilts. Grooves and tilts. Daniel says, I think it matches, LOL. Dude just says, tell them that's the way they're supposed to fly and tell them to throw it harder. Doc says, Brad, I think the opinion is start them out young, full weight, and they grow up used to it. So my opinion about that, and maybe I don't know, but I'm saying my opinion about it is when you start out at full size and your body is disproportionate to where you're going to be, then as far as like getting used to it, like your body's not actually used to it. Because when your body develops more fully, your body's interaction with that disc has changed completely. So it might actually be more accurate to practice with an easier, lighter weight disc as your body develops and it can handle a heavier weight. It actually might match the progress of your body a little bit better. I think that growing up with a soccer ball that's a size or two smaller can be beneficial for kids rather than trying to kick a ball that kind of like bounces their foot off of it and doesn't go anywhere, a full-size soccer ball. And then when they grow up and actually can use a full-size ball, it might be the same proportion to their leg as it was when they were 8 years old. and they were doing a size 2 ball or whatever. So that's my opinion. I think that there's something to be said for matching the developmental stage, and growing with it can maybe be more beneficial than trying to set a standard and like use it the whole time, because then it's almost like your interaction with that same standard changes when your body is different. Oh man, I lost chat so fast. Yeah, Doc says not arguing, just heard both sides and kind of agree with both. Yeah. Definitely not arguing, just positing possibilities. Yeah. Cami says, "Hello, how are you? Greetings from Uruguay. Thanks for hopping on from Uruguay. Here in the United States, chilling, hanging out on the chat. Faux pas there. Very sorry, but thanks for hopping on from Uruguay. Uruguay. I'm never gonna say that right again in my life." Jim says, "First time I've ever watched and participated in a live chat. When we exchange info to get the disc I won, I will send you a signed Eagle McMahon Rainmaker. Oh, your choice what to do with it. Oh, man. That's a nice trade. I'll take that. Yeah, and I will contact you in the next couple of days, Jim. And I mean, the basics of what I'm doing is I basically need you to just DM me, personal message me on Instagram, Facebook, email, something, so that we can exchange address without, it being on YouTube in the comment section. And then I'll just want to have you also comment and say, "Hey, I just reached out on Instagram." That way I know that that's you and not some random person. So that's pretty much it. And then, yeah, we'll get our info exchanged, and I'll get your disc sent out pretty quick. Yeah, so anytime that you want to reach out, I do have Bhirdietime Instagram and Facebook, and then you can also find Bradley Hendrick on Facebook. That'd be great. Otherwise, I'll be leaving a comment in response to your comment on the giveaway video in the next couple of days to kind of start that process. So either way works great for me, and then you'll get your disc. But man, really appreciate you being here and hanging out. It's been a blast with you hopping in the live chat with us. So thanks for joining in. Really glad that you won. And I saw that, when I did the giveaway, I wanted the giveaway to be for people who have kind of been subscribed for a little while, haven't been left comments before on the channel. And so I was really happy to see that, it wasn't your first comment on my channel that you'd commented before. So I was very happy to see that and glad for you for winning. Doc says, "If I had kids, I would start them out with Innova Dragons. No video games till they can throw 400 feet. Daniel said, "You said you like Florida. It reminded me of a trip I took to Orlando." Yes, I lived in Florida for 3 years, and I was about 2 hours from Orlando by car. So I have been to Disney World, and I saw Disney is amazing. Yeah, I have been to Disney World. I was quite a bit younger. I loved Winnie the Pooh at the time, and I was able to ride Winnie the Pooh rides, and there was like a Winnie the Pooh lunch where somebody in a piglet costume was there, and Winnie the Pooh were walking around to different tables. All that was pretty cool. And yeah, Disney is it's a magical place. Brian says that his 7-year-old has a Mercy, Pure, Bounty, Claymore, Fuse, Core, Vision, Bryce, Stiletto, Ballista Pro. Holy moly. He's got more latitude than I do. Yeah, you're just missing a Brave. Just missing a Brave. And maybe a Keystone. Dude says, "Holy cow, Jimmy is supposed to give away to you, not vice versa." Hey, Dujit, calm down. Calm down. You don't know the rules here. Todd says, "Doc, I bought her a pink dragon." Todd says, she still can't play video games. Hasn't hit 400 feet yet. Pizza Boy says, hello. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. Cami says, "It's okay, you said it good." Okay. Phew. Doing my best here. Got the American accent, getting everything wrong. It's just our way. Brian says, "Believe it or not, he throws the Stiletto and Ballista Pro pretty decent forehand and backhand." Doggone. Everybody's better than me. You guys are great. Doc says, "Todd, good disc, and if you have standing water, they float. If running water, careful, they float away." Doc says, "Hey, pizza, just had a frozen pizza." And Todd says, "Hi, Pizza Boy, I'm the one who ordered." Tujit says, so by that logic, a Birdietime used disc is more valuable than an Eagle signed disc. I mean, compliment toward me, I accept. Thank you. Doc says, most courses here on the floodplain, but a dragon is great in the bag. Todd says, charge it to Bradley H, please. They don't know. They don't know. They don't have my info. I'm a secret. No one knows. Man, I'm running low on water. I'm running so low. Jim says, maybe you could send the Rainmaker to the guy who guessed correctly. Ooh. Maybe I could. If you want me to do that, I can make that happen. Yes. That'd be a cool little prize for, the second person to get it. Yeah. We'll talk about that, Jim, but I like that idea. I think that's nice. I think that's really nice. Dude just says, my giveaway function came in and it's pretty good. It's actually the one that Blaze gave away. Oh, dude, you won Blaze's giveaway of the function? That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, Blaze is a close buddy. I miss him. I wish we could play more. Doc says, Disc Golf the Musical. I mean, we got Ed Sheeran, just need to write it. Oh, gosh. We don't have Ed Sheeran. Daniel says, if I write something wrong or if I don't understand something, don't mind. No problem. No worries. Don't worry about it. We're all hanging out. It's very relaxed. No judgment. Brian says, definitely keep my eyes open for a Keystone and a Brave. And like I said, if we run into each other, I've got a Keystone for you. Doc says, Brent will give us your 411 for some Johnson's foot bath. Dude just says, is Brent's foot a joke now, Doc? Yes, everything's a joke to Doc for sure. Yeah, Jim, we'll get that worked out. I really like your idea. I think it's very generous, very creative. Doc says, no, it's not soup. Not yet. Daniel says, you wanted to laugh. I mean, yeah, laughter is good. Laughter is good. Water. 2 hours into the stream. What am I supposed to do for water? Do I leave? Do I leave you guys? Do I just suffer? It's a tough one. Tosses foot soup. Oh my gosh. Dude just says we need to get those Harry Potter numbers up. So, Dude, what's your favorite Harry Potter movie? Have you read the books? And who's your favorite Harry Potter character? Those are good questions. I'm proud of myself. Todd said, so it's okay to get up and get water, LOL. No, I have to monitor you guys. I have to babysit you or else you'll go wild and I'll never catch up to the chat ever again. And I bet Dujit would make the chat go so quickly that I'd never be able to catch up. Doc would just go insane about soup. It's dangerous. It's scary. Doc says better than stone soup. Go get water. We will behave till you return. See, that's the thing I'm afraid of. Doc's like, well, we'll behave. Oh, it'll be fine. Daniel says stay a little longer. Don't worry, I'm not going to cut the stream. Just going to get up and come back. Luke says, have you tried the new Captain Raptors or Captain Thrashers? So I do bag a Captain's Raptor. I don't know if there's one more recent than the Jawbreaker Flex. I have... I'm trying to remember if I threw the Captain Thrasher. My friend has one. And I saw him throw it, and I'm trying to remember if I threw it too or not. But I love the Captain Thrasher. I think the Thrasher is a little bit too flippy. And the Captain Thrasher is the perfect response to that. Remember the plan. Oh, great. Thomas says, the Half-Blood Prince was my favorite, and I've read all of them. So, funny story. I love my parents. My parents are amazing. They were not okay with me reading Harry Potter as a kid. So I went to college, and I let loose. I read all of the Harry Potter books in 2 weeks, and then I watched all the movies the next week. And I have to be honest, I read the first book, and I wasn't impressed. I read it, I put it down, I said to myself, do I like Harry Potter? Is it worth reading the rest of the series? And I said to myself, I didn't really care about the first book that much, but I should take a chance on the series as a whole. And I'm really, really glad I did, because I thought the first three books got progressively better. And then Goblet of Fire through Deathly Hallows were all amazing. Amazing books. That was my personal experience of Harry Potter. I think because I started reading them at 18, I didn't really get the sense of kind of growing up with the series, where you read the first book at 12 and then, grow up with the books coming out. All the books were out when I read them. So for me, the first book was a little bland, childish, but as the series grew, they got really, really good. And then the movies were very good. So I very much enjoyed Harry Potter quite a bit. Half Blood Prince is a fantastic book and movie. Dude just says, I've read the books. I like Sorcerer's Stone and I like Sirius Black. Sirius Black is an excellent character, and his development throughout the series is fantastic. They do a very good job on that. Oh gosh, clear disc. Well, hello there. Daniel says, I would laugh at you trying to speak Portuguese, so it's okay. Yes. No Portuguese for Brad. Dude has been keeping an eye on a completely clear dynamic discs driver on eBay. Doc says, should we call Mama and Papa Brad and tell on him? Don't worry. They watch the live streams, and well, usually. I don't think they're watching tonight. But B, they know I read them because when I was watching the movies, I was going to watch one at my parents' house, and they were uncomfortable with it, so I didn't watch at their house. So yes, they are very aware. Wasn't a secret. Chase says, was like Parks and Rec then. After the first season, just hits different. That's a great little comparison, to be honest. Yeah. Parks and Rec, a little pivot after. It's kind of like The Office too. After season one, there's this pivot, and then it's like, wow, like this is great. Although a lot of people do like season one. Oh, here we go. Daniel says, which house are you a part of? So I think that I fit into either Gryffindor or Ravenclaw. I was on my school. I was the quiz team captain of my high school. So Ravenclaw wouldn't surprise me, but I do have a very, very strong sense of loyalty to my friends. So I think I've gotten Gryffindor and Ravenclaw from different tests. But I think I lean Ravenclaw, if only because Gryffindor is kind of like the typical, oh, I'm in Gryffindor. So maybe Ravenclaw for me. I don't know. Todd says, are we going to talk about the alleged Harry Potter recasting controversy? Are we talking about a reboot, or are we talking about the Johnny Depp recasting? Doc says, dude, are you Brad's dad? Isaac says, can you tap the shelf behind you real quick? I'll do you one better. I'll grab a bunch of discs from it. So these are disc golf discs that I own, and I have thrown all of them. I don't bag them. I have discs in my bag that I take with me out on the course. But these discs behind me are part of my personal collection. I have overstable discs like the Photon and the Splice, which are wildly overstable. If you throw them, they'll go left really fast. I've got flippy mid-ranges like the Paradox. I have my original putter that is so worn down and beat in. This Warden that I started putting with, that I learned how to putt, how to jump putt with. Ah, the memories 2 years ago. And one of my favorites, Legend of Zelda Stamped Buzz. So I'm assuming you're asking because you didn't know if this was real as a background behind me. Well, it's real. Doc says, never read Harry Potter, but tried the test. What's a Slytherin? Is that good? The reboot. Okay, so I haven't heard about the recasting controversy for the reboot. I have not heard about it. So I will probably look into that But yes, I'm unaware, so I have no insight right now. Dude just says they're the mean ones. Slytherin, they're the mean ones. Dude just says mom and pop Brad in attendance for streams. Yeah, I don't think this week. My dad's pretty sick at the moment, but normally they're there. And well, if you, you will know if it's them commenting. We'll just put it that way. It's not a name that you've seen over and over again. It will be very clear that it's my parents commenting. The Hendrick in the name will give it away. Daniel says, I found it a bit doubtful. My friends think I'm Slytherin, lol. Dujit, proud Ravenclaw. Doc says, hope your dad gets well soon. Thank you. He's already feeling a lot better. Long story short, he had really high blood sugar for a couple of days. But it seems like it's getting a lot better. I've been praying a lot for him, and it does seem like he's headed much, much closer to normal. And so I'm glad for that. But yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate all of you, the support. Little check in on our poll here. Lord of the Rings at 27, Star Wars at 35, leading with a healthy amount, but not outright destroying. Harry Potter at 22, catching up. That's good. And Matrix at 16. Doc says, best thing for that, disc golf. I have played disc golf with my dad. He actually played a lot of frisbee with me growing up, so he's partially to thank for my disc golf proclivity. And I enjoy playing disc golf rounds with him. And he has caddied for me and filmed me a couple of times. But he's not in Charlotte, so it's rare that we get to play disc golf together. But when we do, it's awesome. That's good. Todd says, at our sweet boy Bradley Hendricks, mom and dad, hi, sweetie, you're doing great. I think I've spotted them. Garrett, hey Garrett, thanks for hopping on, man. Hey Brad, just picked up my first glow disc. Think I'm hooked. Do you plan to play any glow rounds soon? So I don't know what Charlotte's glow scene looks like. I haven't played glow since I played in Gainesville a couple months back, and had a lot of fun with it. I threw this isn't the Wrangler. What is this? Right, a growler. Threw the growler a lot. Ugh. Threw my Echo, my glow Echo, quite a bit. Didn't have a glow putter, so I just putted. So definitely fun to play glow, but I don't have enough glow discs to like fully pack out my bag with just glow discs like some people do. But yeah, I'm not sure when I'll play glow next. I'm not sure what the status of Glow League is in Charlotte. So maybe eventually, but no plans soon for it. I do enjoy glow rounds though; they're fun, especially in Florida. I would really enjoy them when it's just so nice into the evening, so warm. I love that. Uh, Doc says, wait, he was sick. We got to ask, did you take him any soup? No, I didn't get any soup. It's like 700 miles away, so no soup transport, 600 miles, whatever. No, surely that's a different Bradley Hendrick. Daniel says, is your father sick? If so, I hope he gets better soon. He's already feeling a lot better. I really appreciate the guys. Really appreciate the support. But yeah, he was pretty sick a couple days ago, but he's already starting to feel a lot better. Bailey says, sup, Brad? Hope you had a good weekend. I did. I had 2 moderately disappointing rounds of disc golf. Not bad, but I played at a little bit above my rating, but in a tournament that I could have won, and I kind of had a couple of stupid little bogeys on an easy course yesterday, and then played a doubles USDGC doubles qualifier today, and came up just 2 shots short of qualifying. But my doubles partner had a swollen foot, so it's okay. Next time we'll get it. But otherwise, had a nice weekend. Staying busy, playing lots of disc golf. Todd says, Doc, they took him a stew. Doc growls a lot when he throws a growler. Okay. Dude just says, opinion on the tempo. So I like the tempo. I think that it's a good disc. I haven't thrown it enough. I think it's extremely reliable, which is really something that you want in a disc. But yes, I need more practice with it. Just haven't thrown it enough. I really haven't gotten as much experimenting in lately as I've wanted to. It's been a lot of play the round with my bag because it's either a tournament prep round or for my online league, which is now I'm out of. Too bad. But like one round a week for that or filming. So like my experimentation window is very small. Dude just says, you should combine with the clear disc science, you automatically throw 500 feet. That's a good point. Daniel says, I'm glad he's better. Yes, thank you. Bailey says, disappointing rounds of disc golf is better than no disc golf at all. Plenty of other qualifiers you guys will get in. Yes, very true. And honestly, I truly think that if Brent had been at 100% health, that we wouldn't have just qualified, but we probably would have won the tournament. We just ended up missing like 3 35-foot putts, which as a doubles, best shot doubles. Shouldn't do that. And I think that we would have been on average like 10 feet closer to the basket on every hole. And I think that's just the difference where we just needed a second like confident throw. But he couldn't put full weight on his right foot, which made it pretty hard to throw backhand. So he was mostly forehand. And even when the shot shape wasn't really forehand, he'd throw the forehand. And it worked out a lot, but so close to like amazing. But it was fun. Glad I got to play. Dude just says Berg X versus Berg. Love my pink soft Berg X. Haven't really compared them myself. I've enjoyed the Berg, but not the Berg X. Roxy says Americans are cruel. I wouldn't say that all Americans are cruel, but humans can be cruel, and that can pop up in any country. Dude just says Brent's foot is what's keeping Brad from being lead card on tour. So true. That's so true. Daniel says, LOL, I saw. Bailey says, I've only got one local qualifier near me in Maine, have gotten third place 2 years in a row, top 2 teams qualify. Hope this is the year. I hope so too. That's rough. Yeah, we had 25 teams and top 3 qualified. We were 2 shots back from a tied second place. Yeah, hopefully this is the year. Second place or first place, take it down. I was able to play US doubles last year with my brother, and he's now moved on to MPO, loser. But we did pretty well. So I'd love to be able to play again this year. And Brent has a really good forehand, so that would be really nice. And normally we're both good at putting. Today, I was not good at putting. Doc says, haven't gotten a Berg yet, need to do it. Maybe I'll check whatnot. Of course. Ultimate upshot disc. Be sure to only buy a Berg X, though. Berg X. Daniel says, what is your favorite series? So out of the poll, my favorite is Lord of the Rings. I absolutely love Lord of the Rings, especially the extended editions. I love the Fellowship of the Ring. The Two Towers is even better. And then the finale, the endings of the Return of the King are just beautiful, amazing, redemptive, restorative, incredible. The series is a work of art. From the books, it's incredible how much was kept and preserved from book to movie, and almost overwhelmingly where there were small changes, they were changes that made sense when you move from a written form to film. So I think that they're really incredible. The Hobbits fall short. They just do. I enjoy Star Wars, but I like Harry Potter quite a bit, and The Matrix was good, but nothing compares to Lord of the Rings. Doc says favorite series is Discworld. Terry Pratchett reference. Okay. And disc golf. That's pretty good. Doc, kudos for that. That comment right there is almost enough to get you mod just on its own. I'm impressed. That's a top tier comment. Everybody tell Doc that was a really great comment. That was really great. Terry Pratchett and disc golf reference in one. as answering the question, favorite series? Man, that's really good. Dude just says no more 6-disc binge buys. Luke says, what do you think is missing from your bag? What is missing from my bag? Besides my yellow and blue Valkyrie, I think that I now have a space where I don't have a distance driver that's just stable. My blue Enigma is a little overstable and it'll fade. My yellow Enigma is a little too flippy, and I don't have something in between that I can confidently throw, and I know it'll drift a little bit but come back. My yellow Enigma, I'm starting to not trust, and it's going to like drift too much. I think I actually need to get one of my other Enigmas and get it tested and slip it into that spot there. I currently am bagging the Hurricane and the DD1. DD1. Yeah, DD1. And I think there's a little bit too much overlap with how similarly they fly. So I don't think that I need them both in the bag. And also, my Shrike and my Enigma are a little bit similar in how flippy they are. So I'm kind of missing that. Luke says, Shadowfax, throw it already. Okay. Doc says, rip Terry Pratchett. Yeah. Daniel says, I always fall asleep watching it, but it's good. You have good points. Yeah. Lord of the Rings is incredible, but it's very, very long, especially when you do an extended editions marathon and it's like 12 and a half hours from start to end. Have done multiple times. Worth it? Yes. Fun? Yes. Would I recommend? Yes. But get food ahead of time. Luke, coming in clutch with the great questions. Luke says, what do you want to improve in your disc golf game? Maybe forehand, maybe distance. Actually, right now, my putting is a little bit weak. I have just been missing more putts than I usually do, especially circle 2 putting has been weak. I think a part of it is I have less trust in the greens in Charlotte. In Florida, when I miss my putt, I plop down 12 feet past the basket in the sand. In Charlotte, my discs just kind of pop up and start rolling away sometimes. So I'm unused to that, and I'm still trying to kind of get mentally confident at putting at the basket and forgetting about those like rollaways. But I've had an increased number of missed comeback putts in Charlotte compared to Florida. So putting is a big one. Forehand is kind of like an in progress long term thing, but distance is another big one. I was just getting some tips by someone who might make a YouTube video with me in the next 2 months, who has kind of given me some form ideas of little tweaks to make for power, of like how to get my arms moving at the same time together in my timing. So distance is up there. Forehand, distance, and putting. Yeah, I'm just working on everything. Ooh, Todd says, what's your favorite YouTube disc golf series? Mine is either Bogey Bros battles where they travel around and play, or the monthly match, or the break series, all foundation. That's tough. I wouldn't say that I really, really watch many other disc golf YouTubers because I'm so busy editing and doing my own stuff. Honestly, the closest thing is like the GK, the Go Throw skins matches, where I enjoy those week after week skins matches. Doesn't really count, I know, but whatever. Disc golf series, man, I don't know. That's a great comment. Tassa's great comment, Doc. Dude who says, don't give Doc mod. He will unleash soup horrors. Doc says, Sally didn't think of the disc pun. That was an accident. Oh, and there goes mod. Too bad. Thought we were the soup boys. Wow. This is like when Hulk Hogan turned the fans. The world must be spared sometimes. That's fair. Dude just says Shadowfax is really underrated. I kind of rediscovered it in my collection. I totally forgot that this isn't it, is it? Oh, this is it. I totally forgot that I had my Shadowfax because I gave away my first Shadowfax. So this might have to get tested soon. There, it's next to the bag. Todd could go for some soup horrors. Daniel says, whoever thinks he's our favorite nerd, give him a like. Oh gosh. Doc says, what happens when you cross a chicken and a Luna? When you cross a chicken and a Luna, you get a really twisted version of the nursery rhyme where a chicken goes over the moon, but it dies because asphyxiation in outer space. French? Okay. Luke says Tristan Tanner, coach. Nope. No Tristan Tanner. Nobody that any of us know. Put it that way. He's a dark horse. And not in the Brody Smith way. Doc says skins are fun. My favorite is champs versus chumps. I do enjoy when amateurs are matched up. That's fun. Bonanzas, Trash Panda, Mystery Box videos. Got some crazy old discs. Catch with Brian Earhart. Is that what you're talking about, Doc? I honestly don't like to watch people throw the frisbee around. It bothers me. Bryant says, like the FX4 more than the Shadowfax personally. Well, thanks a lot for giving me an FX3. What are you thinking? Brody Smith teaches Brad the scuba for a whole video. Daniel says, I bought a ticket to go record with you. Heck yeah. We'll get Daniel to give me some tips. Daniel's gonna fly in and make the channel, and I'm gonna be 18% better afterward. Plates in the back. There we go. We got a plates reference. All right, we've got ourselves disc golf discs. Yes, if you had to, in an emergency, you could eat off of it, but it's not a plate. These are disc golf discs. They're meant to be gripped and thrown on a disc golf course. I have a lot of discs. They all fly differently. A disc like this growler, when I throw it, it's going to be turning off to the right. Maybe at the end of the flight, it'll kind of fade back in. Other discs are meant to be flippier, go dead straight, go left, go further, not go as far. Disc golf. It's a great sport. All right. Doc says, Brad, I like how Bryant is kind of uses the game of disc golf to get pros to ease up and open up. Yeah. Dude just says, yeah, plates reference. Yeah, it's cool. It's nice. He's very casual about it. Yeah. Brian says, between the two, didn't get the stamp on those. Dude, I'm gonna use birthday money to donate for Brad to eat soup out of a disc. On that note, I'm gonna go get a drink. Don't ruin the chat while I'm gone. Ugh. Okay. So I got myself a Summit Citrus Twist because they were at Aldi and they were $3 for a 12-pack. Am I risking my life for cheap soda? Yes. This probably won't help me talk, but whatever. Well, we got a lot of soup. Tots, it's time to silence everyone. All the mods are like, try me. Just try me. You got a couple of soups. Oh, that's a good question. Can you silence other mods? I don't know. Are mods above the law? They are the law. Luke says, favorite stamp you have that isn't custom, like the link stamp doesn't count because it is custom. That's a tough one because So like would the Rocket League stamp count as custom? Because it's like it's a specific nah, that wouldn't count as custom, right? So let me interpret what Luke is asking as like I would have to probably go with the Rocket League stamp. Where is it? Which we've all seen, the calculated stamp. One of the coolest. But I'll give a quick shout for one that I haven't talked about, except I just did on my all my discs video. But I like this Sonic. It has a really sweet green, like what like a musical noise thing, whatever, which makes sense as a Sonic. That's one of my fun little discs that I got recently. I used merchandise credit on that. So, fun shout out to the Sonic. Dude just says that, oh gosh, dueling with 1 minute timeouts. Mod quick draw, who can silence the fastest? Doc says, are not all stamps not just the name custom? Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is like technically like what's custom. But I think I know what Luke's asking. He's not talking about like a dyed or a personally custom made stamp, but rather a sold stamp, manufactured stamp. Daniel says, I really want to know if you have good musical taste. So, what's your favorite band? So, that's a great question. So, you're not going to probably know my favorite band. So, my all time favorite band is Hawk Nelson. They're a Christian punk rock band that I've loved for my entire life, through my childhood. They have like 7 albums. They're all perfect in every way. But as far as mainstream, well known, popular music, I don't know. I like classic. Well, I kind of like classic rock. I like alternative rock. I don't know. I like drums and guitar quite a bit. Luke says Skillet. That's one of my other favorite. Oh my gosh. Todd. Yep. One of my favorite songs on the radio, Hawk Nelson. He's quoting the lyrics for me. Yeah, that was one of my first favorite songs, Todd. Absolutely. Man, I'm so tempted to sing it. Dude just says, gotta go, be back in 30 minutes if you're still on. I think we'll be rolling in 30 minutes, so hopefully you'll catch us for a little bit at least. Todd says we can only block each other. Guess we're playing for keeps. Oh. Dude just says he is the guy. Oh, Ed Sheeran, of course, Daniel. He's mad for the guy. I have nothing against Ed Sheeran. I don't have any of his musical talent. But I don't particularly love Ed Sheeran. I don't know. There are only a few bands where I like almost all of their music. Most bands I really like 1 or 2 songs, and that's about it. But shout out, Skillet has a more recent album from the end of 2024 that I didn't know about, and it's pretty enjoyable. It's called Revolution, and I just discovered it because even though I've been listening to Skillet, I've been listening to the songs that I've had saved and downloaded in my playlists, and so I didn't realize they had a new album, and now I have incorporated the new album into my playlists, into my putting playlist, and my putting playlist recently has grown from about 45 songs to about 70, so I'm happy about that. Other shout out is Stellar Cart. Stellar Cart, one of my favorite bands growing up as well. Doc says, and the video stopped. Josh T says, have you been watching the Wheel of Time series on Amazon? So that's an interesting question. I have always been mildly like interested in reading the books, but hesitant because they're super, super long. And apparently there's a lot of extraneous detail in the Wheel of Time. I watched the first season. I had interest in it. I liked the characters. I watched the second season. I lost all interest in the show. Yeah. It may just be me. It may be personal, but I stopped liking all of the main like younger characters in the second season. I just stopped liking them. They all became unlikable to me. So nothing against the show. If you enjoy it, absolutely not. But that was my personal experience. Was I was interested in the show. I enjoyed a good portion of the first season. I enjoyed the cliffhanger of the first season. I enjoyed the dynamics of the kind of young people that knew each other and were kind of friends or dating or not, or like whatever, all the young adult drama. But man, season 2 just kind of just killed it for me. What about you? Have you been enjoying the show? Yeah, the books are better. I mean, that's what I've heard as well. And to be honest, the books are almost always better. The books are almost always better. What show or movie is better than the book? I would suggest that Reacher, the show, might be better than the book. I have not read, but I have skimmed through Lee Child's writings and I didn't really particularly enjoy it. But Reacher is such an amazing show. I think it outlives the level of, it goes beyond the level of the writing originally. Maybe. Todd says, hope you're not blocked when you come back. Daniel says, you convinced me you have good taste. Ed Sheeran. Oh, well. Yes, good. Yeah, Duja can borrow the Innova Dragon account. Dax says, Dax has some Christian themed songs. Ever heard any of his stuff? I have not. Cliff notes for Wheel of Time. A bunch of young people wonder if they're the chosen one, and we don't know which one's the chosen one. That's the first season. Bryant says, Live Life Loud was the song I chose for a Christian retreat back in 2012-ish, undergrad. Live Life Loud is such a fantastic song, and the music video is absolutely hilarious, where they're playing bocce ball with these old guys and end up fighting them. Oh, it's so funny. Live Life Loud was fantastic. Smile is the End of the World is a good album. Live Life Loud is a great album. Letters to the President is a fantastic album. Almost no misses. Every song is just hit after hit after hit. Books are always better, except maybe Jurassic Park. How about 10 Commandments, book or movie? Book. There are few biblical movies made by Hollywood that are in any way accurate. Most of them are crap. The Passion of the Christ was quite good. It was fairly accurate, like pretty accurate. Jack Bing says 007. What about 007? I haven't watched really any of a couple of James Bond movies, but not any of the recent ones. I have played more James Bond video games than I have watched James Bond movies. Fun fact. Gabriel says, hey man, played a professional course in Kentucky. It was a blast, but very hard, mostly because it was super windy. I imagine, dude. I imagine. Was that a competition or just a fun round, Gabriel? That's awesome, though. Dax's Man song, Man It About Broke Me. I have not experienced. Okay. Doc says, okay, song I've debated with some people. Is Dancing in the Graveyard a Christian song? I don't know. I'm not familiar with Dancing in the Graveyard. I highly doubt it just based on my glimpse of the YouTube video. So I'm going to go with probably not. But I don't know for sure. Todd says, if I hop in the shower right now, I still have time for a round of disc golf today. Todd says, okay, bye. He's going on the course. Daniel says, what do you think of the Hunger Games? That's a great question. So I really enjoyed the first Hunger Games book. I thought it was great action, great story, great character building, very, very interesting. I thought the second Hunger Games book was all right. It was very continues the story, introduces some new things. I appreciated the previous winners being incorporated back into the series with all of the trauma and failures of the past. And then the third book, which I've been challenged in this, and it may be fair, my perception of the third book is that suddenly Katniss just decided to give up and do whatever she wanted and not care anymore. And I very much disliked that. She gave up on being responsible. She gave up on caring about other people. She just kind of said, it's too much, I'm done. I have had people tell me that what's really happening is she's basically she's experienced so much horror and trauma that she can't handle it anymore and it's not her fault. And I think that's probably fair, but I also don't know that the author was trying for that. I think the author was trying to portray her in a good light as making good decisions but for herself instead of for other people. And I think that's irresponsible and cruel. So that's my brief opinion of the Hunger Games trilogy. Um, yeah, I guess that's my thought process. Is I thought the third book was a swing and a miss. Um, I did not watch the third movie, the two third movies. I just watched the first two. Um, yeah, I liked the books. I did. I enjoyed the books. I thought they were quite interesting. Yeah. Do Doc says made me want a burger. Gabriel just played for fun, super long holes. Lost my favorite disc, but somehow someone found it the next day and sent it to me. Oh, thank goodness. Doc says Delta Ray's version is awesome, but I can see your point based on the photo. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it yet, obviously, in the middle of the stream, but I'll have to give it a shot and see. Uh, Nam says, "Have you read Ready Player One?" I have not. That's a big gaping hole. Is Ready Player One? I have not read or watched. So it's interesting. I kind of almost feel like I didn't watch it because it was such a thing. It was so popular. And I don't tend to necessarily be like, "Oh, it's popular, it's bad." I just kind of I don't know. When something's really like blowing up, I kind of just tend to not have a desire to watch it necessarily. And now like I wish I'd watched it at some point, like by now. I do want to read the book as well. I'm interested in it. But it's interesting because it's a genre that I should love. I actually have read a lot of different books and series where there's basically a simulated or another world that someone enters into, a video game world or a fake world or a virtual reality. And I very much enjoy those as a literary genre, the lit RPG genre. So I'm almost interested in why I haven't watched or read Ready Player One yet. Shout, what's his name? So it sounds similar to Ready Player One, but it's a series called The First Player that I very much enjoyed. I think that's Andrew Novak that wrote that series. So random thing just popped in my head. That's a great series, book series. You can listen to them as well. Fantastic. Gabriel says, "How many times did you play this week?" So I played today, yesterday. I played Friday. I skipped Thursday. I played Wednesday, Tuesday. I skipped Monday, and I played Sunday. So 6 times. I guess technically 5 times in the last calendar week. Doc says, oh. Daniel says, "I think the first one is iconic. The second one is very good. The action and adrenaline. The third one, I feel like it's a bit of a loss." Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. That happens sometimes. Nam says, "Would highly recommend the book. Movie is meh." Okay. Okay. Daniel says, "You have to finish watching The Hunger Games." Yeah, I did kind of feel like they amped up the action in the third Hunger Games movies over the books. But maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I will have to give it a shot at some point. Gabriel says, "Did you finish under par?" So I played yesterday on an easy course. I finished 12 under par, and I felt like I played bad. It was 12 under through 21. Winner went 17 down, and the winner was like 14. So 14 years old. Felt good. Today, Brent and I went 11 down. Felt like we should have played 15 down. Doc says, "Disclaimer, Old Man's War is a lot of violence and some adult situations, but not too bad." Have not read Old Man's War. Daniel says, "I need a movie recommendation urgently." Okay. Movie recommendation urgently. Braveheart. Great movie. The Source Code. Great movie. Let's see. What other movie? I've just been watching TV shows lately. That's my problem. Like I watched Ted Lasso, and it was a great show, especially seasons 1 and 2. But I haven't been watching movies lately. Um, Get Smart with Steve Carell. It's a hilarious movie. Let's see. What other movies? Doc says Braveheart. Why am I not surprised? A Brit would say that. LOL, but great movie. Hey, I mean, Braveheart's just great. Freedom! Like, what's not to love about freedom? Try the old Get Smart TV show. I've seen bits and pieces, and I haven't watched it, but I very much appreciate where the modern Get Smart movie comes from. It looks funny. It looks just like it looks great. It does, but I haven't watched them. Brad says, "Do you believe they play disc golf on the moon?" I do. I do believe so. Yes. The only problem is that the discs were entirely worthless because there was no air to glide over to have friction in. So they just floated off the moon. It was very sad, actually. It was a Nate Sexton 2017 Firebird, too. And it just floated away. Brutal. But yes, I do believe that they played disc golf on the moon. Yeah. Totally missed the basket. Daniel says, love comedy. Watch Nacho Libre. Comedy is always tough for me because I find that with my sense of humor, enjoyable comedy movies are hard to find because too many comedy movies, in my opinion, try to just be really, really gross. And we're like, oh, look how funny this is. This is so disgusting. And I'm like, that's not funny to me. I want something to be clever, interesting, humorous, ironic. Those things are more enjoyable to me. So Get Smart has it has a couple of moderately kind of like gross moments, but it's not a disgusting movie. And it just has so many quotable lines from it. Third package. Doc says, Daniel, a movie. What I said, Puss in Boots, the animated one? No, the 1980s with Christopher Walken. Oh wait, it's a musical. Jack Black's mom was an Apollo engineer. Is that true? I don't know. Is that actually true? Danny Kaye's movies from back in the day. Danny Kaye is the court jester Danny Kaye, or am I thinking of someone else? Court jester is hilarious. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. There you go. Yes, Danny Kaye. Yes, court jester. Fantastic movie. The Flagging with the Dragon has the brew that is true. Also, obviously, Princess Bride, fantastic movie. If you haven't watched it, everyone needs to have watched it at some point. Home Alone and Home Alone 2, hilarious, absolutely funny movies. Greetings from cold Poland. Ooh, I feel for you. I'm sorry, man. Poland, that stuff. Thanks for hopping on the stream, though. Appreciate you being here, hanging out, having a good time. Yeah, Daniel. Hopefully, some of those are good recommendations. Doc says, have I ever seen My Name is Nobody? I've watched the first Zorro movie, or maybe the first two Zorro movies. I can't remember, but Daniel says, do you have a more acidic sense of humor? It's a good question. I would describe my sense of humor as it tends to be toward the witty and acerbic side of things. I do like sarcasm, but I do like clever humor versus pratfalls or gross out humor. Thomas Harris says, good night, Thomas. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate hanging out with you today. And hopefully some of the videos on the channel are helpful for your disc golf journey. But otherwise, keep at it, keep practicing, and keep getting better. Justin says Napoleon Dynamite. Luke says, you know. I watched the first half of Napoleon Dynamite as an adult, and I just couldn't quite get into it. I think that it misses my sense of humor personally, but it's just me. It's just me. Luke said this a wasted 3 hours of his life. He could have been playing disc golf. Zorro, I thought was what you meant by Black Fox. Spaghetti Westerns, Terrence Hall, you'd probably like it. I'm trying to think. I actually have a pretty good, like a decent shelf of movies. Daniel says, I find it interesting that people have more acidic sense of humor because it's not obvious. It can be true. It can be true. I have a pretty Robin Hood Men in Tights. Yeah, that's good. with Carrie Ellis. Yeah. Any Which Way Is Lose, Clint Eastwood and a monkey. Haven't watched too much Clint Eastwood myself, but some for sure. Checking in on our poll, which is closing in on 100 votes. We have Lord of the Rings slash Hobbits at 28%, Star Wars at 37%. It looks like Star Wars is going to hold on to the lead. Harry Potter at 21, respectable after a slow start, and The Matrix at 14, hanging on with a few solid votes. I appreciate The Matrix, but Doc says, Brad, probably offended that I haven't watched much Clint Eastwood. Sorry, I can't help what I just haven't done. Sorry to offend you. Treasure. I'm lost. Let's see. The Mission Impossible movies were actually quite enjoyable. I thought they were overhyped, but they're fun. They're good. They're fun movies. Let's see what else. Die Hards are tough. I actually like Die Hard 3, which most people don't like. I actually really like it with Samuel Jackson. Very much enjoy it. Kind of that buddy cop aesthetic, but the buddy cops are always fighting, of course. Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, pretty good. Doc says almost bought Chuck Norris versus Mr. T today. Was a book on whatnot. Gosh, goodness. Let's see. The Accountant is pretty good. Ben Affleck. And there's a sequel to The Accountant that's coming out. Luke says, just going to say it, Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. Die Hard 2 absolutely is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is over the holidays. It's literally a Christmas party that's being hijacked. But Die Hard 2 is literally a Christmas movie. I mean, it's literally holiday Christmas travel in the airport while it's snowing with delays and family. Like, I don't know, Luke. Christmas movie. Dana says, what do you think about horror? So I tend personally to just not really enjoy the horror genre myself. I have heard a very interesting perspective that horror movies can be really incredible because they can demonstrate and remind us of how horrible things could be and how wonderful it is that God has redeemed us from true evil. That doesn't help me when I'm trying to sleep at night after watching a horror movie. But I think they have their place. It tends not to be my interest. My closest thing to a horror movie that I really enjoy is Signs by Mel Gibson, which is not a true horror movie. It's more just a few jump scares. Did I say by Mel Gibson? I think it's M. Night Shyamalan, but Mel Gibson stars in it. Doc says, anyone like Top Secret? I mean, Val Kilmer singing about surfing and skeet shooting at the same time. What's not to love? All right, Luke says, I have school tomorrow. Good night and have a wonderful stream. Luke, thank you so much for being here for so long. Appreciate you modding and helping out. You're awesome. And congrats on shooting 900 rated today, even though you felt like it wasn't your best and you could have played better, but you played great and you'll only shoot better from here on out. Dana says it's good to watch with friends, horror movies. Good to watch with friends. Yeah, probably. I did watch Saw with a friend, and we actually like really enjoyed it a lot. Thought it was a great story arc. And then we watched Saw 2, which was okay, and Saw 3, which was just uninteresting. But the actual like written story of Saw impressed me. And that was me watching it for the first time, I think, last year. So it kind of holds up. Really kind of does. What did you saw with a friend? Yep, nice. Pied Piper, Brad, I think would be good to show your kid group and workshop about the music. Oh boy, sure. I believe you. Let's see. What other movies? Trying to think of top movies in my collection. Trying to envision them. I haven't looked at my movie shelf. Problem is, like, I've been really appreciating certain TV shows like Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman is really, really good, top level writing, acting. It's fantastic, but it's not a movie. Excuse me. It's not a movie, so it doesn't count. Changing Lanes is actually one of my personal favorite movies. It has Samuel Jackson and Ben Affleck. It's a basically unknown film, uh, but it demonstrates the depths of desire for revenge and the radical lengths normal people might go if they can't forgive and move on. Um, it's kind of a very, very interesting movie. Well, I love it, so highly recommend. Also, Hitman's Bodyguard is really funny. If you're going for a comedy movie, Hitman's Bodyguard, so good, so good. Oh gosh. All right, I'm just ignoring Doc. Blast from the Past is a good movie. Whoever agrees breathes. Sherlock Holmes movie. Nathan Basil Rathbone. Yeah, I've heard mixed things about them. Honestly, after seeing Sherlock, I'm not sure I could watch a different iteration of Sherlock Holmes, even though Robert Downey Jr. was fascinating and enjoyable as Sherlock Holmes. It's almost like a Lord of the Rings to Hobbit comparison, where it's goofy fun versus Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, which is just cinema, in my opinion. Wow, we've been chatting movies for a while. Lord of the Rings caught up a couple of votes, or maybe just one vote, 29% to Star Wars, 36%. 36%. We need to keep the stream going until we have 100 votes, at least. That's 4 more votes. So if you haven't voted, vote. I won't end the stream at 100. I'm just saying we need to at least reach 100. All right. Doc says, without a clue, Sherlock Holmes, but Watson is really the smart guy. I have heard that was interesting. I have heard that was interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. All right, let's see. Do I have anything? Oh, I closed it. Shoot. I want to give a shout out to I'm gonna say his name wrong. Kenny ran into me at Wingit a couple weeks ago, and it was really awesome. He came up, said that he was a fan, and said hi. That was awesome. And I wanted to say to all of you guys, if you do see me out on the course, feel free to come up and say hi. I love that. I'm not going to be bothered by you trying to come over and talk to me for a few minutes. Doesn't bug me. I love it. It's awesome. If I, am talking to the camera at the moment, not a great time. But I usually am not just standing there talking. I'm usually talking for 20 or 30 seconds, getting my film, clip, and then moving on. So I'm very accessible out on the course. If you ever do happen to run into me, I would love for you to come over and say hi. So shout out Kenny. Really great to run into you. Daniel says, what is the dumbest character you've ever seen? The dumbest character I've ever seen. It's got to be Umbridge in Harry Potter. She is just the dumbest. She's the most brainless. Even in her cruelty, she's not intelligent. She has no original thought. She only follows what has already been done and what she feels. So, Umbridge from Harry Potter, one of the dumbest beings that I've ever seen portrayed. Other dumbest characters, Dumb and Dumber, are very, very dumb. That's true. Let's see. The main character in The Court Jester is not really high ranking in the intelligence scale, but that's to the benefit of the film. It's a good thing. He's very enjoyable as an unintelligent character. Oh man, have I been sideways for? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. How long have we been off? That's not any better. Oh well. Doc says, Brad, that's what I hated about Twilight. After Bella meets Edward, she goes stupid. Was a strong, independent woman until she gets with him. So, yeah, here's the thing about Twilight. I haven't watched the movies, I haven't read the books, so I have no true authority to speak about Twilight as a series. My perception is that it's kind of stupid, but that's an outsider's perspective. But I will say, as a 15-year-old, I picked up a Twilight book, opened it to a random page, saw a spelling error and a grammatical error on the same page, closed it, and said, "This sucks." I don't think it's good writing. It might be an interesting story. I'm not here to dissuade the concept of it being an interesting story. I think that it was untalented writing. You can write a good story and be a bad writer. That's very true. From what I know of the adaptations to film, they were very like too teen focused, and I think to a great loss. Like Lord of the Rings appeals to teenagers, Star Wars appeals to teenagers, but I don't think they're teen focused in the same way that Twilight was like, wow, this is only for middle school and high school girls. And I think it was to its loss. It was super popular, but I think it lost quality because of that. Yeah. Doc says, Brad wanted to make fun of it, and my rule, I read it before I make fun. Daniel says, I prefer her with Edward rather than Jacob. Jacob is boring. I feel like most of the Jacob versus Edward debate came down to looks, but yes, I have heard that Edward is a better being than Jacob. I don't know. I don't know. I have no insight into it. And Doc, I think it's a good standard to hesitate to make fun until you've read it. I think that's fair enough. Um, I read enough by skimming that I knew it was bad writing, and that's tough for me to read. Like really bad writing is not easy to kind of slog through. And I read a lot of books growing up, a lot of books. I still own a lot of books, but I read a lot of book series, and if a book or a series was just written poorly, it just like hurt my brain to try to keep reading through it, and I would just stop sometimes. So I'd force myself to keep reading, and I would hate myself. Dude just says, I'm back. Did Ted block me? LOL. Gone for a half hour, and Ted blocks him on his way back in. You're good, man. Doc says, considering her age and his age, real gray zone. Yeah. But he looks like he's 17. Daniel says, yes, you are right, LOL. Doc says, grease was the word. Hairspray was good. Next 20 minutes, just musical theater. Well, the only musical theater that I am able to really commentate on is Wicked, the musical. And I only watched a portion of the movie. The movie disappointed me a little bit from what I watched. I think they changed an unfortunate amount of the iconic musical moments from the musical in the movie while replicating like 98% of it. They would like change the 2% that was significant. And that kind of like hurt my feelings a little bit. I would say that sorry, I'm trying to read Doc. Ooh, the Wicked books. I paged through the Wicked books and I was a little bit traumatized as a 15-year-old. I was like, what in the world is going on here? This is gross stuff. So I did not read the books. I discovered enough of what was in them to want to not read them. I listened to the musical, memorized a lot of the songs, and have seen the musical twice, and it was fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. And by contrast, I have also seen live Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and as a Christian, wanted to gouge my own eyes out. Wicked is actually very, very good. So, good musical quality, good performances, good set pieces, just fun. So the movie is, I didn't watch the whole thing, and I won't say bad. I think they're talented. They're both quite talented musically. I think it falls a little short, and maybe it's not its fault because Wicked is a high bar, but I don't know. I think I think it's just okay. Doc, let's just assume that Jesus Christ Superstar is in that same box as Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We'll just put that in the same box. Dude, Buzzsaw and Cigar are coming in tomorrow. Don't know about the trail, though. Hopefully trail's coming soon. So book was better. As far as Joseph, yes. The musical is atrocious. The book is much better. Much better. Need to grab a trail. Yep. We all need ourselves a trail. I've got my trail. I maybe should have thrown it today, but I didn't. But trail's a trail, man. It's a good disc. It's good. I like the Neutron plastic. It's nice. Good grip to it. Got one more vote in the poll, and I think it was for Lord of the Rings because we're at 30% to Star Wars 36. Yeah, dude, hope it's pretty easy control. Distance control. Goodness. Distance control driver for you. I hope so. I think it will be. I think that's how it'll fly for you. Good distance control. Yeah, good accuracy. Doc says, need a disc that makes me throw 3 times further than I do now. Too much to ask for? Talking about a roller. Daniel says, if someone talks, oh gosh, 50 Shades of Grey. We will not be talking 50 Shades of Grey here on the channel. We keep things family friendly, or at least pretty close to it. Yeah, no. Doc says, Daniel, try Bound. Much better movie, same idea. Oh gosh, why'd I read that out loud? Yeah, we're going to stay clear from that. We're going to stay family friendly here. The Lego movie was pretty fun. Chris Pratt, yeah. Yeah, pretty good, pretty hilarious. Where are my pants? Right? Dude, it says you're talking about the book that's literally a different shade of gray in each page. No words, right? Yes, dude, that's what I would. Yeah, that's the only type that I would read. Say that. Let's see. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Excellent books. Follow-up series, even better. First movie, bleh. Second movie, worse. Second movie was awful. Annabeth didn't even look correct at all. She was ridiculous. Clarice didn't look right. Oh, it's just a mess. What a mess. Talk about a swing and a miss. Aragon, same thing. What an incredible book series. I would say favorite book series, Aragon, probably. I even have an Aragon quote. Ugh. Probably can't see it very well with the lighting, but it says, books are my friends, my companions that make me laugh and cry, find meaning in life. Aragon, from the Inheritance Cycle. Also, a good video game. Yeah, Daniel. Daniel, we know it's terrible. Doc says, Brad, do you need some non-book friends? Well, pretty much I only have Brent. So, yeah, need some help there. Doc says, any Myth series fans by Robert Asprin? Haven't read anything by Robert Aspirin. I do have the soups. We are soup buddies. We got that going. It's true. Let's just say growing up, I had my best buddy, Adam, and then I had a whole lot of books that I would read. And that was pretty much it. It's pretty much all I had. A couple older siblings, but they were 4, 6 years older than me, so they were kind of off doing their own things, and I was reading. I was enjoying it though. Absolutely loved it. Neil says, "What's the hardest thing you think playing at a pro level for disc golf athletes?" I would say one of the hardest things is affording it because the travel requirements across the country, it's difficult on you physically and emotionally and mentally. And then you have to pay for it. Like you have to pay so much money to go on tour. I think that's still a massive block to a lot of extremely talented players. Um, yeah, I think that's like one of the hardest things is you have to have enough money and be able to like break onto the disc golf scene in order to get anything back from it. And you just kind of have to hope that physically you hold up and play well enough long enough to get your money back. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things. Daniel says, "Guys, love meeting you, but I'm going to have to leave because I have to wake up early for college. Hope you have a good live." Thanks for joining us. I probably can't make it a whole lot longer anyway. But yeah, come back next week. We really enjoyed having you. And yeah, every week, 6:30 p.m. EST, we're hopping on live and chatting sometimes about movies, sometimes about disc golf, sometimes both. Yeah, Neil. So I think that that's one of the big things for pros. As far as when you're there, when you're at that level, I think there is a lot of mental pressure to perform every single week. And if you just kind of plug away and try to win everything, when you don't win 5, 6, 7 times in a row, that can be incredibly demoralizing. And it can just kind of snowball into. Um, I think last year, Ezra Robinson kind of experienced some of that, where he was at the level where he was good enough. He kept putting himself into contention on chase card, and then at the last moment, he would kind of collapse. He'd miss a few putts. He would get like very upset mentally. He'd just kind of like crash and burn. And I think what changed for him is I think he had a shift in his mentality and his understanding of himself to where he's now okay with his own inadequacies and failures. And when he screws up, he's still moving forward and not falling down. So I think that mental pressure of handling the competitive level and handling your own failure to perform at your best can be absolutely crushing. And I think that's something that Ezra experienced last year and was defeated by and has overcome this year. That's my thought. Uh yeah, it's crazy to afford to play, and then once you're there, it's crazy to continue to play. Yeah, Doc, yeah, 3 hours earlier than now. Yeah. Kill Bill was the best series. I've heard, I haven't watched Kill Bill. I have heard, as far as Quentin Tarantino is concerned, that it's quite good, um, creative, creative story from him. So at some point, I should watch it. Doc says, "Ben, do you wish you were playing like disc golf of yesterday, cheaper entrance fee, but less pay, or now with the opposite?" Wow. Yeah, and yeah, Ben, you met Brad instead of Ben. Sleepy time. uh, yeah, that's. I don't think so. I think it's better now. I think it's better. I think we have a better situation for getting the best of the best players competing on tour because you need more money there to attract more people. And it's a situation where the future of disc golf is trending in a good direction because people are passionately training themselves at a young age to be good so that they can succeed later. And I think when disc golf was smaller, you had so few of those people. But now you're getting people who will be world class athletes playing at 12 years old, 8 years old, and getting the experience and feel of throwing and putting. And when they will, get to reach adulthood, or even like Gannon, 16, suddenly they are dominant in the sport. So I think that's kind of where disc golf has gotten to as a sport. That status has been reached. That it's created a desirable goal to work toward for the next generation. And I think that was kind of missing. And so we kind of slowly picked up some great players here and there. But like Calvin, he's one of the best players on tour, but he just like did disc golf as a side thing and then kind of realized, oh, wait, I'm fantastic. I'm going to actually switch to this for my career choice. But if he had grown up playing, like if Calvin had been putting, since the age of 12, he might have won, worlds by now, because when he comes down the stretch, he misses a couple low putts. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, whatever I'm trying to express makes sense to me. Cat instead of DJ. Oh man. Dude's just trying out the Buzzsaw Trail Cigarra, maybe a tournament. Heck yeah. Hopefully not a rainy Monday. Yeah, weather is unfortunate. I've got an editing day tomorrow. Bunch of computer work. Hopefully Tuesday. Well, actually no. Tuesday is busy dawn to dusk. Maybe on Wednesday I can get out, hit the course. Doc's off Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Plenty of time to play. Heck yeah. Figure out which Yakun shoes will be in the bag. Dusk Till Dawn, great movie. Okay, go. 98 votes. We've got ourselves 30 Lord of the Rings, 36 for Star Wars. Close, but I don't think we're going to flip anything unless people en masse start changing their votes. Vampires? Okay, I won't tell my parents. Dude just says, never met someone who bags the Yakun disc. My buddy bagged one. It was a putter, though, and he would throw it, and it actually was good. It was a well-thrown, well-controlled putter. But yeah, for drivers, Doc just likes trying out various discs. Makes sense. Makes sense. Ooh. Well, I'm starting to slow down a little bit. Brad, if you get a shoe, try it out. Great straight mid. I would try it out. Yeah. I've thrown almost all of my discs at least once. Almost all of them. Many of them a bunch of times, but almost all of them at least once. I have too many discs to keep trying out. It's a good problem, but it's unfortunate. New divergent discs, those are just for fun discs. Or now divergent discs, those are just for fun. Yeah. Ugh. I'm feeling it. Old, stiff, tired. Ooh, got any proxies on the shelf? I don't think I have any proxies. Yeah. Don't think I have any proxies. Nope. Hit one with a tree, get a crazy bong sound. Yeah, I don't have any proxies on the shelf, so that's something that I am lacking. I have multiple envies, no proxies. Best disc ever. Straight stable punt approach. 3-3 negative 1 0.5. Yeah, that's a solid flight. I'd probably enjoy that. Also need more clear discs. Yeah. They go further. Everyone agrees. So I've heard from you, mostly. Nope. The Arwitz, hey, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for joining us. Bringing some life into the party. Special edition glow proxy, and it's great. Heck yeah. Or it's make sure you vote in the poll. We need 100 votes. We're at 98. Yes, been live streaming for 3 hours and 26 minutes now. So I'm going for like 5 or 10 more minutes, and that's pretty much it. I'm starting to wind down. Special edition glow one, and he says, does it glow? I hope so. Mostly singing show tunes. All right, 99 votes. Lord of the Rings Hobbit 30%, Star Wars 35. It's close. It's close. Or it says, whoa, you probably gained enough hours. Hard to say. We've kind of maintained between 10 and 15 concurrent viewers for 3.5 hours. So decent viewership, but nothing out of this world. Just kind of a solid kind of the whole time. I should really do like a 12-hour stream at some point. Divergent has some UV discs that change color in the sun. Those are super cool. Those are really fun. Really interesting. 100 votes? Hey, we got another Star Wars. 101 votes. Hey, all right. Yes, we crossed the threshold. I think it's quite clear that, yeah, Justin beat you to it. I think it's quite clear Star Wars will win out by a fair margin, but not a massive blowout. Just a bit above Lord of the Rings, but clearly the winner in popularity. I wonder what would happen if we did eliminate the Harry Potter and Matrix options and we just had Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. I wonder if the distribution of the Lord of the Rings or of the Harry Potter and Matrix fans take as their second choice Lord of the Rings or Star Wars more often. So would the voting disparity get bigger or actually close as a gap? Got to dive into the psychology of the Harry Potter and Matrix fans. Oh gosh. Orwitz been watching like thriller, horror, apocalypse TV series, movies this weekend. The Last of Us, Children of Men, The Walking Dead. How is The Last of Us show? I've heard good things and like let down at the same time. And have you played the game? I have not beaten the game, but I've played some of the first game, The Last of Us. Impressed by it, for sure. But it's hard to make a good video game adaptation. It is. Speaking of, is the Legend of Zelda live action movie a good thing or a bad thing? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Dude just says Justin's one of the least violent people I know. Justin says, I can go to sleep now that Star Wars won. Yeah, we'll let Justin get off, and then we'll just tell him that the vote flipped at the last second, and he wasn't here to see it happen. Lord of the Rings takes it all. Will it star Zelda or Luke? Stop trying to rig the election. Last of Us Season 2 comes out in a few weeks. Okay. Gotcha. Legend of Zelda live action. Yes. So, big element for Legend of Zelda live action is will Link talk? Because many fans, while some fans don't realize that Link does talk, we just don't often hear his voice. But his character does speak because people respond to things that he says. But we rarely hear a voice actor of Link. We do hear some sound effects like in Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, where he's yelling and making exclamations, swinging the sword, etc. So the common misconception is that Link doesn't talk. He does talk, but he's often portrayed silently. The question is, how will they handle that as an adaptation? Will they do a good job with it? It's tough. It's tough. Menu on Netflix is a great movie. Quite some violence, though not for family. Yep, not for family. Sonic was a good trilogy. I've watched the first two. I have not watched the Knuckles, Sonic and Knuckles, or Shadow, or both. I can't remember. Doc says, imagine this TV show zombies, but scientists are able to bring them back to their senses. Still zombies, but they have to deal with what they did while wild zombies. Okay. It's not bad. It's an interesting premise. Um, yeah, reintegration to society and facing what you did when you couldn't control yourself. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Leave it to Doc to figure out that. Oh man. Also deals with segregation in the flesh. Yeah. Brad, you can't watch, but the Orwits might like it. Yeah, would they remember what they did, or would people just tell them what they did? Because you could have people making up, like, "Oh, you did this, and you're guilty for it," and they don't even know. They don't remember it. In the Flesh, 2 seasons. I have been watching Severance. Gave that a shot, and it's a very slow burn. Not in a bad way, but it is just a very slow burn. Very, very slow build up. But it's interesting. Interesting. Children of Men was wild. Pretty much conspiracy that humanity was punished with infertility. Daredevil fans, I will hesitate to claim any insight, but I like the idea of Daredevil a lot, and I have not watched the show because it was canceled. And that's just because I like to wait till a show is like done and then watch all of it. So I was kind of excited for Daredevil. I liked him in Spider-Man, No Way Home. Yep, he's very upset. I haven't watched Luke. I haven't watched any of the Marvel TV shows except the first season of Agents of Shield, and Agents of Shield was almost good, but kind of just annoying. The characters were kind of just annoying, but it wasn't like bad or anything. I think it went a little too heavily into the direction of the Arrowverse with like, which I love Arrow, but the Flash and Legends of Tomorrow and everything, Supergirl. I think it got a little bit too, I don't know, goofy drama. Jessica Jones was good. I have heard that. Have not yet watched the new Captain America. Have not either. I actually was impressed with the Marvel Captain America show. And I did watch the Loki show, which was interesting. Interesting. Jessica Jones and Daredevil, only series I liked. I have not watched any Invincible. None. Zero. Zero Invincible. Dude says, gotta sleep. Got school tomorrow. Unfortunately, have a good night and keep Doc under control. Absolutely, I will. And I will be signing off in a couple minutes. I'm pretty wiped out. Longish weekend. A lot of filming tomorrow, or a lot of editing tomorrow, I should say. Yeah. Yeah, we have no English translation. Can't read that, unfortunately. Doc says he's the good one. Sometimes. 102 votes. Ooh, Lord of the Rings falling a little bit further behind with another Star Wars vote. By the way, if you haven't, I am doing a 4-disc giveaway. Make sure you find my 5-disc giveaway for 5,000 subscribers video on my channel and get yourself a chance to win a Garrett Gerthy signed Emperor. Kristen Tatar 2 times Gold Saint Pro, Gold Orbit. MVP Terra with a sweet little die. And Owl Stamped Shrike. Sweet discs up for potential grabs. So check that video out. Entries are open until Saturday, 11:59 p.m. EST, April 5th. And the drawing will be April 6th at 7 p.m. EST next week. Doc says, do have to say Captain America shield stamp on a disc is awesome, but haven't grabbed one yet. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Orowitz. Yeah, all the discs are pretty cool. I picked some good ones. Michael says, I can't have discs. My parents say they are the devil's toys. Well, my parents wouldn't let me watch Harry Potter as a child, so I understand. I'm sorry. However, the devil's toys are marijuana, so discs are not the problem. It's what comes with disc golf sometimes. Oro says, thanks for live streaming. Have a great week. Absolutely. Catch you next time. All right. I'm getting a little bit tired out. Getting close. Dungeons and Dragons was better because I did have to watch it in secret. No one tell my mom. I will let your mom know that you watched, just so that she's aware of what's going on under her roof. I mean, if she doesn't know what's happening in her basement, then, what does she even know? All right, 2 more minutes. Get your questions out now if you've got anything. Animated, not the live action. Ugh. All right. Let's see. Any more disc golf news to talk about? I'm almost done editing my next video. It'll be out early this week, so keep your eyes peeled. Kind of wish I still lived at home. It was cheaper. Yeah. Jason says, glad I came back for the last of the live. Thanks for hopping on for the last minute. We're signing off in just a second, just a minute or two. I'm old and tired, not as old as Doc, but I'm pushing it. Tired, long weekend. Got a lot of editing tomorrow. A lot of editing. Latitude 64 logo issue. Jack says, just got a basket. How much do you putt, being that we play 3+ days a week? I can't quite read the question, but if you're asking how much do I practice putting, I always practice before I play. I recommend that. But with a basket, I mean, you can practice every day for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. That's like perfect. Or you can do a couple of like hour-long sessions a week. That's really nice too. But that's awesome that you got a basket. I hope you really use it a lot and get better at the upshots and putting if you got the space for the upshots. It's a huge thing when you get your own basket and you're able to fully like practice and dive into it. It's big. Yeah, Jason, I was on live for a while. I started to run out. I ran out of water and I had to go get myself a Summit Citrus Twist off-brand Sprite from Aldi to get myself through it. But we made it. Doc says he's old because he outlived his enemies. Putt for dough, drive for show. Hit the gym and came back and you're still on. Hope the live was successful. Yeah, it was solid. We had some good conversation. Had a few people join in and well, hopefully they'll be back next week. So it was good. Sounds better than Sprite. Honestly, it's kind of good, which makes me a little bit scared that it's really, really bad for me. I know that soda's bad for you in general, but still, it kind of made me feel like, it's strangely good, so it has to be wildly unhealthy. Man's a beast. Why some videos you see Isaac and Kristen with tape over the Latitude 64 logo on their bags? I haven't seen that. Maybe it is not yet approved as a trademark, so they can't like publicly display it in their media, even though they can physically have the manufactured items. I'll have to look that up. Don't know. Just heard the tip of the issue, but not all of it. Yeah. I have no idea, but that is interesting. All right. Trademark issues, yeah. Could be a legal battle, could be just a pending like approval of something where they're not allowed to display it on their media. Hard to say. Okay, so let's see. We have ourselves 105 votes. Homework for next week, yeah. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, 30%, Star Wars, 35%, edging out not by a ton, but by a significant enough amount to where it's definitely not close to a tie. And then Harry Potter, a solid 22%, and The Matrix at 13%. Also get Kristen on the show. I would love that. That would be awesome. That would be super cool. Jack says, believe because it looks like the Nike swoop. Ew, interesting. Huh. I will find that, or I will do a little bit of digging myself to see. All right. I'm kind of, guys, thank you so much. If you haven't, check out my 5 giveaway discs for 5,000 subscribers video. Get yourself entered for a chance to win one of those 4 discs. Otherwise, thank you so much for hopping the live. Thank you for supporting me and hanging out and supporting the channel. All the love. Thanks again. Catch you guys next time. See you, Justin. Oh.